Not the chuddle.
Chuddle. Surprise. Whoa. Oh, that's fantastic.
Fuck good. If What the Actual Fuck was a movie, out of the mist and into the fog, it's Chuddle the Pod.
Chuddle the Pod. Bruv, you gotta know. Welcome to the #1 horror show, where we got a brand new episode. Listen up, baby, cause here we go. We got Sam here, and he's really cool, and he's doing stuff, and I don't know. I didn't write any of this part down. The freestyle got screwed up.
Oh, man. Band
I wish I could
love
have.
that.
I tried. But I failed.
That was fucking beautiful.
No, it wasn't. It was okay.
He tried.
He did try. Something happened there.
I admire it.
Appreciate it. Anyway, welcome to the pod, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight as we jump into 2022's Dashcam, 2021, depending, festival, all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah. Sup? Hey. Thank you.
And Ross.
Oh, hey.
For joining us today. I appreciate it very much.
We appreciate you.
I appreciate you more. Thank you to our beautiful patron and Coven of Witches. Your sacrifice gives us life. We thank your beautiful souls. With all that being said, we have to get into our special guest for this evening. Returning guest, but I guess he's representing a different podcast tonight.
Yeah.
Yes.
Trevor Blanchard, thank you so much for returning. A la the Night Club.
Yeah.
See,
I love the Night Club.
Yes.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, we were supposed to have the other co-host, recent new addition, Cody, to join us, but he wasn't feeling well, so he had to drop out at the last minute, unfortunately. But we appreciate you being here.
Shout out, rest, R.I.P.
Yep.
Oh,
well, I mean,
shit.
by the time this comes out, we don't know what happened.
Was it that
I
serious?
hope not.
I do not know. I have not heard from him, though, so it might have been.
Oh,
It
no.
might have been.
Oh, shit.
Oh, googly moogly.
He's probably sleeping.
That's great. Well, guys, I'm feeling really self-conscious about that stupid rap I did in the beginning.
Oh,
of
But it
this.
was awesome.
Yeah.
Dude, you smoked any of Annie's...
I smoked a lot of something, but...
Yeah.
Hopefully, once we get in the flow, maybe we'll start freestyling later. We got to freestyle.
Is
the
that
rest
what
of it.
you're
Oh,
hoping
perfect.
for?
Ross
Is
is
that
in the
why
band
you
car right
picked
now. I just wanted to eventually get to just a freestyle session, and that's what it's all been leading up to.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Anyway,
Yeah.
all of tonight's club members are present. We're accounted for. So let's go ahead and crack open that goo book and officially begin tonight's meeting.
Give me that goo. Oh, yeah.
With all that being said, our first order of business for tonight is our spoiler-free goonopsis. Two friends embark on a horror-fueled road trip and live stream the most terrifying night of their lives.
It's very misleading.
Misleading, but I mean, technically, it's not two friends. I mean, it's a friend, and then
They don't go on a road trip. That one of them wasn't intending to live stream. They're not. There's a lot going on there, but I mean, yeah, I would
Sure,
say it's
why not?
inaccurate and misleading.
Mm-hmm. And for our toe tagline here, there wasn't anything according to IMDb. The only thing that's on the poster just says from the creators of the acclaimed horror breakout host.
Wow, no tagline.
Oh.
Okay.
Not that I could find.
All right, I'm gonna say.
I apologize.
When the freestyling stops, the horror starts. There you go. Put that on the
There you
DVD.
But slap it on there. I think that's great. Oh God. Ross, you moved your head and I didn't realize there's the image.
So Ross looks like
fucking
he's in
Angel
a
is
dash
just-
cam car. Yeah.
What are you talking about?
That's amazing.
All right. Who made this one? This is written and directed by Rob Savage and also written by Gemma Hurley and Jed Shepard. Now, Jed Shepard, we know him from something else that has been on our podcast before. Scare Package 2, he did a segment in.
Oh. Which segment?
Yeah, he wrote and directed Special Edition It was one of the, I don't know, it was like a group of girls. There was like the weird lighthouse thing and some sort of shadow creature that was living in
the TV shadow
thing and
thingy.
had like blade hands or whatever. He did that one.
Cool.
He looked like Charlie Brown. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
we know him from that. Gemma Hurley and Rob Savage. Well, Rob Savage also did the movie Host, which I know Ross has seen. I'm not sure if either of you, Trevor, has seen that as either.
I have not.
I don't
He
think
made
so.
this. I know he made this like immediately afterwards, and then also the Boogeyman. He got a 3-picture deal with Blumhouse after Host, which is wild.
Yeah. So, as you said, the Boogeyman as well. And Gemma Hurley, she is in Host. And there's a bunch of other people in the cast as well that are kind of in Host as well as this. But our main cast is Annie Hardy as Annie herself, Amar Shadha Patel as Stretch, Angela Inahoro as Angela, Ceylan Baxter as Ceylan, and then James Swanton, Carolyn Ward, Gemma Moore, Mogali Masuku, Teddy Leonard, Joshua Higgett, George Keeler, Faith Kigundu, and Emma Louise Webb.
There wasn't that many people in this movie, was there?
I mean, those are all people. Yeah, not a lot of them had like many speaking lines. These were all the parts, but like I decided that it's so small, named them all. But that's it. Some of them play characters that are in the movie and such. But anyway, we'll get into it for sure. But before we do that, we got to ask this.
It's time for the gore. Fatality.
On a scale of 1 to 10, Psycho to the Sadness, how gory is this film, Ross? How you feeling about this one?
So I had the intensity at like between like a 3 and a 4 for me, because there's definitely some really horrific shit that happens in this movie, and the consistency I had I think around like a 3. Because I think it's like once the train starts going, it goes and then goes and then goes and gets gooier. So yeah, like I said, 6 and a 7, so 6.5.
Nice. Sam, how do you feel? You've been coming in lower lately than what Ross and I have thought. How do you feel about this?
So I was at a 2.
This one has that weird goo question. Sorry.
It does. There's definitely non-gore, gross out stuff. How do you count that or not, or how much? Anyway, I tried not to count it, and I have a 2.5 for consistency and 3 for intensity for 5.5.
Okay.
Total.
I could see an argument for that. I agree with Ross again. Kind of. I put a 3 for consistency and a 4 for intensity, and we'll get into the reasonings, I guess, specifically for those. So 7, maybe a little bit on the higher end. I don't know how you feel, Trevor.
Yeah, I think I was going in at a 3 and a 3, right? 3 for consistency.
Yeah, 3 for intensity.
So and then,
6.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was a good number. I was like, yeah, that sounds right.
Sounds perfect. I think that's a good zone in there. Your 5, 6, 7 range. So whatever range you want to call that, beware. It's in the 5, 6, 7 range.
Yeah, yeah, totally. This is if you don't like gore, you would not like this.
Exactly. And there's once the Harbinger comes in, we'll talk about some other stuff you might not like. But before we get to that, we got to ask this.
Who is the horror forward?
All right, we're going to go ahead and ask this question here, which is what sub-genre does this belong to? How should you watch it? And is it for beginners? So the subgenre definitely falls into found footage or screen life, as it's more becoming known.
What's it being called
as now? Screen life. Like it's like it's something that's happening on a screen, because it's technically you're not. I guess you could say you're finding the footage if you stumble upon the stream, but it's still not really a found footage type of thing.
Sure,
but it is that world.
Yeah, this is a tough one. I don't want to. I'll wait till after spoilers, but I have some qualms with that in particular in this movie.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, supernatural horror.
Yeah, definitely.
For sure.
Monster, creature feature.
Monster, creature feature.
A cult. It's got to be a cult,
yes.
right?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say it's also for like I feel like it's for like seasoned horror watchers is what I would say. you got to be kind of familiar.
I wouldn't
with
put
the
it for
genres,
beginner,
right? I don't. Yeah,
No,
Yeah.
I'm not throwing
beginners.
this on for somebody's like first horror movie.
Yeah.
No, no. I feel
People
like
with you need like a good patience and sort of general sense of like being able to be around things you might find grating or annoying.
yes,
certainly,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah, I think that you have to be pretty seasoned to kind of enjoy the horror aspects of this. I think there's a few roadblocks that happen before that.
As far as the found footage thing, this does definitely have a lot more found footagey type moments, like just camera shakiness. I want to say than a lot of some of the other movies we've talked about. I feel it goes heavier in that, especially certain scenes.
Definitely. And what kind of an environment? I mean, I've always seen it. I think that it works well in spooky. It's the director has talked about it being supposed to be a wild, wild ride that you want to be in a theater full of people yelling at the screen with.
That is how I would have liked to have seen this one for sure. So everybody fucking yelling at Annie.
Yeah, I think that you can definitely get creeped out watching it by yourself, but I feel because of some of the character aspects, like being in a theater or a large group would be also,
and some of the
I think
moments,
you're still going to get the scares.
Yeah, some of the moments in a theater too. I can think of a few moments that would be good with a crowd.
Oh, huge for an audience in a theater. Absolutely.
Love it. All right, now here's the time to ask our little harbinger of doom if there's anything to worry about here. Yeah, quite a bit.
Poop.
Doo-doo, fluids,
Doo-doo.
a lot of fluids, a lot of
Lots of
different bodily
mouth fluids,
excrements,
bodily fluids, and bodily excrement, not in or around toilets, in car. Then
In cars. Pooping in cars with boys.
Cars.
pooping.
If you
cars with
really
boys.
want your cars to be clean, this might not be the movie for you.
Yeah.
Didn't know if you have
Just
wrong with that.
just
Clean
saying.
car freaks.
And then, I mean, Annie's language, she is very offensive in how she speaks and says probably a lot of things that could be offending to a myriad of people.
Yes, a very large range.
Yeah.
There is also
is,
mass suicide in this.
yeah,
Sure,
suicide.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a big one too.
Her character is like a MAGA conspiracy-ish, but not so much. But
Yes.
just like kind of ultra MAGA / like filthy rapper freestyler, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll get into
Just saying what she says may offend you felt a little too general. I wanted to specify more about what it would be.
So yeah, that's kind of the big, I don't know, chuddle shit, the harbinger chuddle shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to buckling up and heading on into this area. Spoiler zone. All right, here we are over into our spoiler zone. And first, we're going to talk about a little bit of the IMDb behind the scenes. I actually didn't pull that much from behind the scenes, from IMDb particularly. I listened to a few, I don't know, podcast, video interviews or whatever with
Me too.
the director, writer. And I also listened or watched one with Annie, which was interesting. And then I stopped probably about halfway through. But
Wow.
this starting off, band car is a real thing that Annie does that is what essentially inspired the movie. Rob was hanging out with one of the co-creator or the co-writer, Jed, I believe it was, who Jed produces or works on Annie's podcast that she has. So he knew about her, but it was like seeing this thing, it kind of sparked the whole idea of this crazy wild ride, what would happen, and putting this kind of, what's that?
I was gonna say Jed had seen her band car and seen that people would make comments like, "There's somebody behind you, look out! Oh, somebody like, oh no!" And he had the idea. He was like, "Oh, I should make a horror movie about like band car, make a band car horror movie."
It's such a weird concept because I did not know any of that while getting into this and then finding it out after the fact. is that like I felt like I watched like a horror movie commercial for a thing, having the main character, like having this as like an actual personality that does this exact thing in shorter format on like streaming. It was very weird. I have this like weird sense of like I just watched a ginormous commercial for this person's content.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't get that vibe. I mean, I understand what you're saying, but
I mean, it certainly is a platform for her.
it's sure. I don't think it's given her any kind of favoritism in any way from what I've seen about it. So
no, it has not worked out in her
yeah.
favor at all. She's very upset about it.
Director's gone on to say Dashcam is like a Saturday morning cartoon where everything is kind of amped up, is one of his descriptions of it. He wrote this and he actually wrote the treatment for this before Host, but got Host made and Host blew up. And then when that happened, he was asked about, other stuff. Dashcam was something that he had lined up and then kind of put that forward. There's a whole process of like kind of figuring out, okay, well, maybe we do hire someone, an actress or an actor to play the character that Annie is and doing the whole thing that way. And what could we do? But they're like, ultimately is like, it all came back around to the original premise and the idea and just use her and work with that. And throughout the movie, there's also something like 6,000 comments that Rob Savage wrote all the majority of those comments. Yeah, that's kind
of amazing. In and of itself, that's kind of amazing.
And one of the other fun quotes I saw that he said is something like, "What if the main character is the most dangerous person in the movie?" I think that should just going about and doing all terrible things and causing a lot of problems, and it's just a blip in this kind of world where this other crazy shit is happening. It's like this crazy world with whatever's happening with Angela meets up with Annie's presence. This is what you get. All right, moving it on to who picked it, the why, and the history. I picked this one. It is something I'd seen probably almost a year ago now, and it's stuck with me as just it's just stuck in my head, and I wanted to bring it to the pod at some point, and I figured why not now. That's about it. I mean, I don't have any other real big things. I hadn't seen Host before this, so I saw Host after I'd watched this.
Oh, okay. I had seen Host and I had heard about this one and never actually wound up watching it, and this was my first go
because you had heard about it.
No, actually, funny enough, I knew nothing about the movie. I had actually been meaning to see this, but didn't hear anything about the characters or anything like that. It literally was like, oh, I should probably watch that. And then I brain farted actually watching it. And when Brian was like, oh, it's the guy who did Host, I was like, shit, I've been meaning to watch that.
I think now that I think about it, I think I remember that I saw it on like some horror found footage group of people talking about the worst characters or the people they hated the most in found footage movies, and Andy kept coming up from Dashcam, and I had heard it had been on my radar, but it was funny enough because it was in that list. It's her and Sean from Deadstream were the two people that like kept coming up, and I'm like, okay, that's interesting. I had seen Deadstream at that point. I'm like, all right, I'll watch Dashcam. That thing popped in.
You're like, like Deadstream, okay.
She's different.
Just a little different.
Trevor, how about you? Do you have a history with it?
I do not. This is the first time watch for me. I did not see Host. I want to say I might have seen a trailer for it. But I feel like around that time I saw a lot of like internet / cell phone based horror movies, and I just didn't slog my way through it at the time. Is what I can say. Nothing against it though, but this one kind of threw me for a ride, and I do actually. Deadstream was like my 2022 number one for the year.
Yeah,
so
sure. Deadstream.
I mean, I definitely like the genre, I guess you can say. Right. I'm just not well versed in it yet.
Mm-hmm. That streaming verse.
Yeah, that streaming verse with all the comments.
Sam?
I had only heard of it and heard how annoying the main character was, and is interesting. I liked it.
Great.
I
Cool.
watched it twice. I liked it more my second time. I'll say that, which I was not expecting.
Of course. I don't blame you. This isn't for most people. All right.
Yeah.
It's well, let's just get into it. Let's get into our big movie discussion here. It starts with opening shot downtown LA. Internet stream just starts up from Bandcar, the internet's #1 live improvised music show broadcasting from a moving vehicle. And as Andy proclaims, just another day in paradise as a man throws up in the middle of the street right in front of us. So that's how we're kicking it off. And then we get to cut to a shot of her
Naked
like
bike
being
guy.
like, like, oh, check it out. He's here all the time. And then the man rides by on a bike naked, which apparently
naked.
that was based on a true thing
Did you
that Annie would see.
Did you hear that?
And
Really? Okay.
yeah. So she would go out and she actually went out and filmed it for this, but then like legal was like, yeah, we can't really like clear that or anything.
Yeah.
We can't clear the naked guy because he was also like furiously masturbating.
Jerking off
her.
at her and the person that was like doing the
That's what they took out of
That
the movie.
would change things.
That's what they took out.
Yes.
So that is
But-
a like someone else that's riding down in underwear that's CGI'd
Yeah,
naked.
he's in underwear. They CGI'd it out to make him look naked. It's insane.
Yeah,
I couldn't
wild.
believe that story.
But,
I wonder how much money that cost. Like to avoid, I
lot.
guess less than what it would cost to pay for like a lawsuit or.
it'd be interesting because I
But
don't
still,
know
why
if
couldn't the guy be naked that they hired to do it?
I guess he didn't want to.
Yeah.
Couldn't they
So
hire
why don't
somebody
you get
who
a guy
would?
that would be?
Yeah.
I don't like Ross leaving the car and just having.
So the way Ross has the dash cam car, and it's like the shot of just Angela sitting in the back seat. And when he's sitting in front of it, you can't see her, but he just went to go do something. And whenever he leaves, all of a sudden she pops up.
And she's just staring at us and has her little bloody mask. Anyway, we'll get to why that's happening in a second. So this is all of our opening shot here. We start hearing this is during the COVID lockdown. Annie starts giving her opinions on everything, and we start to kick it off. Beat starts up, and she starts doing her freestyling thing. This then kicks us over to Annie's apartment where she starts packing for a trip, and she pulls out a MAGA hat. She's like, "Got to bring this thing along." And in one of the interviews, so Annie Hardy, the woman
person.
and the person claims, and most people do, is that this is just like a super amplified kind of
Right.
personality of hers.
Mhm.
And I agree.
Well, I think she's like, 'cause from what I understand, she seems to be like, I don't know if she was at the time for this, but she's definitely very Christian now. She says she gangbangs for Jesus because she's got to be all whatever about it. And she
has her wall of crosses in this movie, so
right. So
It's
I guess
dedication right
maybe
there.
that could be something part of it to it.
And she's definitely like anti-vax, but I'm pretty sure also she's generally though not like loud and obnoxious about it from what it seems
That's what I was getting. Like,
where the
it's like, all of
amplification
these are
is
her
like the being in
viewpoints.
your face about it. Yeah.
Mhm.
Totally.
But she's not gonna
And I know
kidnap a woman and like take her on a ride to
right, or like go in a restaurant during COVID and start touching everything and yelling at them for like being the oppressors. Yeah.
yeah.
But also, Rob was like giving her a lot of the direction on this stuff, like this is what he wanted from the character. So,
Precisely. It's meant to be this like that wild amplified version of this.
It's supposed to
It
be
sounds like
abrasive. It's supposed to be very abrasive.
Which is what the whole movie
Yes.
is what he claims is supposed to be, this loud abrasive thing. He also described it as kind of like the opposite of what Host was. Host was this more kind of quiet, contained, spooky, very into it atmosphere type of thing, while this was supposed to be boisterous and loud and the opposite of it. But
I haven't
and
seen
one of the
Host,
things
but
I
it's
heard,
boisterous and loud. That's for sure.
yeah, one of the other things I heard Annie say as well is that she's she claims that, you know, she's not really political one way or another, doesn't care. But I feel like she does fall into this like that edgelord world of almost like the gamer kid who really isn't political but knows all these really hot point things and kind of leans into a lot of that stuff and to get a rise out of people and
Elon fan.
Whether they right. But all that being said, this takes us to her getting on a plane and she's going over to England. Annie goes to the airport. We get some more of her live streaming going around, and this is where she gets like some sort of like hat clip thing that she can like attach her phone to, so we can get you know, hat
which
cam.
we get a lot of the shots from that, right? Because sometimes it's like really confusing what you're looking at.
Yeah, the camera moves around a lot and it like easily clips into place to be, you know, its position of where the shot's gonna be. But Annie arrives in England. She gets to her friend Stretch's house. She does a little freestyle in the car ride or the cab ride, but she gets to Stretch's house, finds a key outside, ends up kind of sneaking her way through the house. She's going through, giving her commentary of all sorts of, you know, framed photos and such.
Yeah. And he also had the like Black Lives Matter sign in the window, and she was like, oh, probably doesn't want to get a rock thrown in or something. And then I think, is it this part? Oh no, it's the next morning. She's going through the fridge and he's got like all the like veggies and vegetarian stuff. She's like, when I knew him, he enjoyed a good cheeseburger. Like, just commenting on everything.
Exactly. Because again, she's streaming this. She's got like 40 viewers at most at this point right now. So it's, you know, they're leaving their comments and their commentary in there the whole time, which that's a whole nother thing. Like if you could sit there and read the comments the whole time and just be lost in
I get pretty
what they're talking about.
Distracted both times by the comments. And at the second time after I had listened to some stuff with the director and with Annie, because I was just like, what is going on here? Like, what? She's got to regret using her own name for this, but like she's in this band Giant Drag, like she's a musician. So I was just curious about all of it. You know what I mean? I forget the point that I was going to make there.
The comments? I don't know. We were talking about that.
Oh, yeah, the comments that after listening to the director talk about the comments, he was like, I'd like to think that if you watch just the comments, you would see that each one has their own voice and is their own character. And on my second one, there was like one that when it would pop up, I would pay attention to it, and it all did like fit like it was this person actually watching the stream, which was...
Oh, definitely.
Cool.
I definitely saw that. I watched one of the times I watched it. I tried to spend time looking through the comments and seeing what was going on there, because the director also stated, you know, he's like, they kind of like work it and like figure out the mystery as it's going along and present their theories. And they say what they think is happening, and a lot of the time they're figuring shit out. So there's stuff within there too if you really want to look at it and figure it out. He said that was also a way to like, because people are like, there's no real exposition of what is exactly happening, or Annie like trying to figure out what exactly is happening or anything like that. And he's like, I didn't want her to do that, but like the comments, those people could. So if you wanted to look for people trying to figure out what's going on, you can watch that and do it.
I really like it used as a plot device, even in like Deadstream, where you know, you can say the things you want to say without being like out loud about it. And it kind of rewards the viewer for paying attention to what they're seeing. Because I do get sidetracked in like reading all the comments and not actually watching the movie.
Sure.
Definitely guilty of that.
That's
too.
Easy to do.
Yes.
Easy to do.
So
she's made her way into England. So she's working her way through her house. She's, you know, saying all of her problematic shit. She's like, the people start doing the comments now too of like, behind you. And like that starts filling up there, and she's like, haha, I'm not gonna fall for that. And they're all like, we'll get you next time. So that's happening in the comments there.
It's like,
then she makes her way
behind me is your dad with his micro penis or whatever.
Yeah. That's the thing. Every now and then, like, she hits one of these hilarious ass lines, and then it's like, oh, then I remember why I don't. Well, I never forget why I don't like you. We'll say
and
that. But
some of the stuff I heard like from Rob when it was first coming out, he seemed like he was thinking like, oh, I have a gem on my hands that I'm like showcasing this talent to the world. Everybody's gonna love her, is how it seemed like he thought it was gonna go.
That's interesting because, as we said, it does not go that well for her because I mean, I
almost feel a little bad for her.
I do. I mean, I do. I don't want to like. She's a person. I don't want to totally trash her or anything. I don't think she's actively trying to do stuff to hurt people.
To harm
but I
people,
don't know
right,
too much about her. And
I may disagree with her, but she doesn't seem like she's actively trying to harm people. So,
and that was Rob's other big thing with this movie. He's like, everyone asks him, so what's the deal with this character of Annie? Why you make a character that sucks so hard and everything? He's like, the kind of, it's almost a cliche line now of, well, we're living in this world with these people that we don't like. This is what it's, this is a different kind of viewpoint living in it type of thing. I was like, he's like, I'm going to make it the most abrasive kind of way to do it, I think. But
yeah,
I'm like, sure, that's fine. Whatever. Let's just, whatever. We're here. Let's keep going, I guess. So Annie sneaks her way into Stretch's room and she does, what is called the Silver Lake handshake to wake him up. They used to do it on tour all the time where she spits in her hand and just fucking slaps the shit out of his face. Like super
while
hard.
he's sleeping.
Yeah, while he's like dead asleep. So obviously chaos ensues. His Stretcher has like a girlfriend there or something with him. She's freaking out. Everyone's freaking out. And then we get to our cut to the next morning. And he's just being an ass while going through the food in the house. Stretcher's girlfriend Gemma comes out, offers Annie some hand sanitizer, which she kind of like just wipes off and gives a little look to the camera and starts saying all this type of shit about it. Being a total dick about it. Talking to our viewers, talking about how the viewers want to see Gemma's tits. One guy's really adamant about it and like just being total harassing being so about gross, that stuff.
Yeah, about everything. It's so disrespectful.
I said, just good old edgelord Annie. Like it's this total like because it seems like it's put on. It feels so put on for the 40 people that are watching.
Oh, what? Got a problem with you? Can't handle it? Like,
yes, leave my home. Bye, Annie.
yeah, exactly.
Like within the first 5 minutes, I would have been like, "You can go now." Like, bye.
Yeah, like, whatever, talk your shit, but like, this is my house. So this is my house. Talk your shit outside.
Yeah, I need peace. I need peace in my domicile, please.
Please. That's just like talking in general. And another thing that you do notice if you're looking through the comments and stuff too, which is a fun, I think, look at, the character or whatever, is there's people in there that don't necessarily agree with what Annie's saying in her commentary on things and are like, she'll makes a whole fiasco about masks. There's a character in the comments that are constantly being like, no, you should be masking up. No, do this, blah, blah, blah. So
yeah. I remember seeing things like that.
It makes it feel more, to me, makes the character of Annie feel more edgelordy in the sense that she just like latches onto like a big like controversial thing and goes one way where she can get the most reaction type of thing. Like before this, she could have been just, some girl that was rapping in her car and being kind of crude about stuff that like was like this big appeal. There wasn't really no political line, even though she says she's not political, but latching onto political
lots of scamming in that realm.
Yes.
She's doing it for the likes, right? Yeah.
Yeah. And then again, another one of those things where I think the comments are very interesting and funny to look at. All this is going on. Stretch comes out finally. We get Annie's story of his nickname
Stretch.
He got the name,
which that you think she totally made that up, right? It just sounds like so outrageous. I can't be true. What do you think?
Yes, I do think she made it up 100%. that Stretch would take like girls backstage and spread their ass with his 2 fingers and stretch them out, or whatever.
Put in a backstage fruit or vegetable.
Oh yeah, fruit. Yeah, there's no way that's real. I mean, if Stretch is really doing that, then I guess he gets what's coming to him because that's an
extremely problematic behaviors.
I guess so, right? That is if it's forced and not,
I feel like she was making
backstage
it up,
fruiting,
but
it was backstage fruiting. Yeah,
that's a very weird kink. Very weird.
Yeah, if there's no way every person has been into it. If he did it with more than one person.
Some people
Do
We're
it to
into
one. But I
backstage
guess you do
fruiting.
it to one person. That's enough to get you the nickname, right?
Actually, yeah,
Backstage
that's
fruiter.
a very
Oh,
a very
Stretch.
good point. You only have to
Yeah.
get caught once.
Yeah, you only need to
Right.
do it once before
And
you
even
end up with a
then,
nickname.
maybe he wasn't doing it. Maybe he was doing something else, but there was just a fruit on the table, like right next to him, and the
Or
story.
maybe
took,
they
you know,
like really
Yeah.
quickly like moved away
Opportunist.
from each other to like cover up, act like they weren't doing anything, and just swallowed up a grape while they were at it.
Yeah.
So we get Stretcher's backstory. Ultimately, and then Gemma kind of like pulls him aside and like is like giving her like, I don't like Annie, all this kind of shit. We get to Cara. We cut to Stretch and Annie in a car rapping together, doing their thing. Stretch and Annie looking around for a butt buffet. That's this rap.
That's the best
Dude,
one.
butt
of the whole-
buffet. Yeah, it's a good one.
Every single day I got a butt buffet.
Yeah, that one's really fun. So they're doing their thing, and this we find out that Stretch is a delivery driver, so they're running around while he's picking up orders, and, doing Grubhub or whatever.
This is
type of
also
stuff.
where we
Yeah.
have they can't think of anything that rhymes with orange, which carries throughout the movie, which drives me nuts because there's no way any fucking musical rapper, even the real Annie Hardy, I'm sure, already knew that nothing rhymes with orange. Like it's a
Right,
whole
It doesn't-
thing.
it's been around like for it to just happen.
Right.
I don't know. This is also Annie gives Stretch this like crystal pyramid thing that she brought with her as like a gift or whatever, and they keep delivering food. Ultimately, this leads them to a restaurant where Stretch is picking up the food, and Annie starts causing the scene that we were talking about earlier about not wanting to wear the mask, and the guy keeps asking to wear the mask, and it keeps escalating to like mad
It's the
proportions.
worst. Yeah.
And she's going off about the track and trace system that they have, and just like the whole time is like, again, speaking to the camera, her audience, or more or less, of
Absolutely.
like, this is wild. They're trying to, track you, all that, all the nonsense, and not wanting to cover my mask, and also like, I got one of those new masks. It's it's invisible. You can't see it.
Trust
like
me,
my
it's
mouth.
working. Like
Yeah. All the things that you've heard and come to love. So she causes a problem. Stretch is like, come on, Annie, this is my job. And he's trying to like right the wrongs as she's like going wild and like throwing shit around and just causing a ruckus.
touching everything.
The whole commotion ensues. Annie's just again continuing to be this old big old edgelord, and the viewers love it. They're like, yeah, this is great. They're continuing. There's obviously, again, like I said, a couple of people that are opposed to Annie's behavior, but still watch her for whatever reason. I don't know if they've stumbled upon it or just like longtime viewers that are like,
That's the one strange thing, because it does seem like most of the viewers are on her side.
correct.
And some of them even try and like turn her on to some things. I think it's the when she a little later when she's going to pick up a delivery for Stretch. It's like someone says like, "Oh wait, are you here?" And they like send a link on the map, and then there's a couple more comments, and then that same person's like, "Because if you are, there's a lot of UFO activity in that area," and like something.
Yep. I have that exact note in there. Yeah,
Do you?
yes,
Yeah.
posting the place. Yes,
Yeah.
I definitely wrote that down. Because after we do the restaurant kerfuffle, we go back to Stretch's place, where it starts with Annie saying, "Well, maybe your feminazi girlfriend will be happy to see me," as she walks in the door, and then immediately gets attacked. By Gemma.
She's like, she opens the door. It's like, "Fuck you," and the hat hits her in the face.
Yes.
Get the fuck out of
So
my
this
house.
goes as Annie to go in a whole craze about, I have this hat, it's causing all the fucking, Jim is a crazy bitch, blah, 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 all this,
Mm-hmm.
getting off from the comments and letting them go wild off it.
They
and,
say we're the fascists, but
feedback.
they're the fascist type of.
The stuff, you love it. Comments go crazy here, mostly in support of Annie, but I will note there are some that are like, again, fuck Trump. There's like a bunch of Trump stuff comes up at this point. There are people that are opposed to it. There's like, but it's very small amount.
Mm-hmm.
But it
The
keeps
voices are in there.
it keeps the comments interesting and everything that's going on there. That's all these weird different people that are watching this stream. Because at the same, like, I don't know, I feel like if I stumbled upon this exact stream, which would be this might be what you're talking about, which is, I guess once it gets to the night of would be the stream that you're watching, because there's a lot of time jumps, specifically in the beginning, like the whole going from LA to England. I mean, you're not sitting there and watching this as a viewer in one sitting, right? So
I'd hope not.
I think once we get to the night of, I think you would kind of sit there and watch it. But I don't know, if I stumbled upon this, I'd probably watch it. And that's when we get to some of the stuff of like the comments being like, this is fake. A lot of that starts popping up too eventually when we get to the more intense stuff too. So that'd be an interesting kind of, I mean, that's immediately what I would think, but I would still think it's cool. Like if I stumbled upon something where all of this was happening as a live stream, you're not going to think it's real. Because
I wouldn't at all. Yeah,
exactly. And then, but the comment dynamic is just, I feel, so crucial to what's going on in this. It's just interesting. Annie takes Stretch's keys and drives away. So then this is when it all
Grand Theft
fucking
Auto
starts going off. Which
should have kicked her out of the house.
Interesting.
I'm telling you.
I heard real Annie Hardy say that she thought this was the moment where like people watching the movie would never be on her side again, or like this seemed to be the moment that lost everyone and weren't able to get them back.
I can see that. I mean, there's
a difference between hijinks and like stealing a car, joyriding, and then picking up orders to like basically destroy your friend's job. Like that's I don't know.
Well, like we were talking about earlier, if you think at this, like before this point in the movie, that she's playing a character, right? Like working for the likes, as we were discussing earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
There's a line that you probably shouldn't cross, and I'm pretty sure stealing your best friend's or one of your good friends' vehicle and ruining his life is probably like a good few steps past that line already. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I think the point of no return was probably before this, but this will definitely put the last nail in the coffin if you hadn't already got there yet.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I don't disagree,
totally.
but think about it on the kind of, I mean, it could also be the thing that, like, as bad as it is to do, for some reason catapults you to some sort of stardom where the consequences are worth the fandom that you get out of it, what becomes out of it. I mean, I don't know why this isn't like as kind of, this obviously isn't the same as
You're not saying this
like
is a good thing, but you're saying like,
but like,
when
like Logan Paul did the whole like Suicide Forest thing, and that was a whole big issue. I mean, I think he was famous before then or whatever, but like,
but that really made him
negative thing. But that like kind of also made him a huge thing, and obviously
absolutely
where he is now. But
totally, I think the difference is like, because I get what you're saying. I think with this, it's like she's actively committing a crime on a live stream where she's stealing someone's, like, I guess that's the threshold maybe, where it's just like, because obviously what Paul Logan did, it was just like an insanely bad taste where she's already at that bus stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like she's already highly offensive already. Yeah. You know what I mean? So then she's like, well, shit, how do I fucking one up this? All right, I'll just steal my friend's
I know,
car.
but it's so much worse when it's your friend too. Like,
but then she does say the thing when she gets the pickup. She's like, "Oh, well, like, don't worry. I don't want you to lose your job. I'll pick up your food and deliver it for you." Even though, you know, I don't think she's fully thinking that. No, I think she jokes that she was going to eat it, but I think she was planning to pick it up and deliver it.
Yeah, and I think she was going to return the car. I think she doesn't think this is as like, I'm out here stealing this car. I think she's being crazy Annie, as like we've always heard, and this is Stretch. She's always gone on these journeys with them, and she's out doing this thing. It is she is 100% stealing his car and fucking with shit, but I mean, to some extent,
maybe she just doesn't I think she also at a certain point, because of just how her character is set up, I don't think she realizes the gravity of her actions. I think that's a huge theme, even through the most horrific, insane shit that happens in this movie. She is like almost completely oblivious to the gravity of everything going on around her up until almost the very end.
It's like all this shit is just going on around her, and her main focus is still just like connecting with the viewer, the live stream, doing this shit and surviving through what is happening. And that's Annie just like working her way through life while, you know, a demon or whatever the fuck it is.
It's just another Tuesday, right? You know?
Entail. It's another, So she gets into the car. She starts doing another freestyle about the whole situation, you know, of what's going on. Stretch's phone. I'm not sure if he either left it in the car or if she took it with him when she grabbed his keys or whatever happened there. But either way, his car's there.
Phone.
He ends up calling Annie because Gemma comes up on the ringer or whatever. He's like, where the fuck are you? What the fuck are you doing? This is when she kind of plays dumb. I'll deliver everything, and hangs up. She gets the order through a delivery app and decides to accept the order. And this takes us to the Beano Cafe. And she's going on, just doing some fan love, interacting with, you know, the commenters, the viewers, just having a good old time, chumming it up. She gets to the restaurant. It looks pretty closed up for the night. It's dark. Chairs are on the tables. Like everything looks like, you know, shut down, closed. Annie's working her way through it, snooping away through. Anyone here? Yeah,
eating some eggs.
This is a point when the comments are saying this is creepy, and one person also notes that this is an area known for high UFO activity.
Yeah,
they do the behind you thing again, and she's like, "Shut up, no one's behind me." But they try to get her again with that.
I wish, though. Know what I'm saying? That's what she says.
And then we get just more interaction with the viewers, and which I think I pointed out now is around 105. So we have gone up, sparking some interest over here. And then the stream starts to, I noted that the stream started off at around 15 to 20, then goes up to 40, and we're moving our way up now to about 90. Then we have the whole pickled egg, the COVID egg situation, where everyone starts making jokes about like this jar of pickled eggs. They'll Venmo her, PayPal her money if she eats one of them. So she does. And then that's when Ceylon, whatever the lady's name is, the restaurateur, comes out, and she's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, I got an order. She's like, no, we're closed. I forgot to turn off the app or whatever to stop accepting orders. It's a mistake. I'll cancel it. Please just leave, and kind of shuffles her out. But then is like, wait a minute. You got a car? and
the way she says that, just like, wait a minute. Do you have a...
she hears like Annie like pull her car keys out or something. And like, I think that's what sparked her to think about it. So she's like, I guess like, yeah. So Ceylon just needs Annie to take a friend of hers somewhere nearby, but doesn't want her to tell anyone about it and just be real quiet about it. And she's telling her all this as they're walking into the back of this dark restaurant, which is, the comments are going crazy. Like, you're going to die. This is dumb. Why are you doing this?
Stranger danger. Come on, man. Stranger danger. You're in another country, for Christ's sake. Like, extreme stranger danger.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. That
in a closed, that doesn't look like it's been open for fucking months restaurant.
I mean, I would definitely, I'd be reserved about walking into a strange restaurant in my own country. But yeah, like you're saying, a different country, that just, where I'm just fucking around and like picking up random orders on an app that I'm probably not that familiar with. I don't know. But Annie's doing it for the views, man. The viewers are loving it, so might as well continue on. And she almost nopes out at one point because she gets back there, and this is when we meet Angela, who's this elderly black lady wearing this kind of like white cloth mask, and she's resting, and she gets up and like looks at Annie, and immediately is like, nope. And turns around and leaves, which is fucking hilarious. I'm like, that's correct. The first good move you've done.
Absolutely correct.
But Ceylon is like, I got a handful of cash. And I love that shot where she's like convincing her, begging her to help and stay, then pulls out the cash, and then we get a cut to Annie propping up Angela outside. And Annie's just like, you know, a lot of people don't know this about me, but I'm actually a really good person.
Yeah, that is a great cut.
But And then like it was like Angela's like trying to get in and then back out of the car. And
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
She puts her in the back of the car, and then Annie puts Angela in the back of the car, and then Annie sits in the front seat. As soon as she sits down, Angela opens the back door and starts getting out again. It's a whole little thing, little bit they do.
It's a cute little bit they do.
Stay in the car bit.
Viewers have gone up to 172. They're coming up now. And we do this whole load in, load out. That's fun and cute. I definitely enjoy that. Eventually, they get the car rolling. People in the comments are as well being like, you're kidnapping this lady. Like, she's confused and trying to leave. And I'm like, I didn't really see it like that. At this point, like, I don't know. It's sus as
I got
hell.
this says she was drugged. Yes.
But like, I don't know.
She looks either super sick or super sedated.
Do you transport the lady that the weird lady in the restaurant gave you a handful of cash to transport?
No.
It's a handful of cash.
I do. Yes.
Like are we talking like a handful of like 20s or 100? Like,
I don't know what that was. I don't know how much she got out of it. But I mean,
that's what I'm saying. Like, I need to know a monetary amount.
Too much cash. Like if this woman was like,
I'm
"Hey,
guessing
here's
it was like $3K or something."
That's too
3
much
stacks?
money. There is something. The higher the payroll is.
oh, you're saying like if there's like a shit, if it's like 10K,
ton
you're
of
like,
money. Fuck that. Not
that's
happening.
like, yeah.
If it's $20 and it's like, hey, I know that like I fucked up
That's
on the
true.
order, but I'll give
That's
you
true.
$30 to send her up the road. I would
can
be
cover
way
your
more
gas,
apt
yeah.
to do that than like if someone pulled out like thousands of dollars and was like, I need you to take this woman and not tell fucking anybody. I'd be like, nah, I'm all right.
That is a good point.
That's a
I'm
great
still
point.
gonna do it.
I'm still gonna do it. Yeah.
I'm still gonna do it.
10K. I'm
I
just
need
like
a handful of cash.
I'm looking left to right just to make sure nobody's looking at me, and I'm like, yeah, let's go.
Right.
All right. Yeah.
Right.
You make a
Look
very
left, look right.
valid and reasonable argument that I totally agree with.
Get in the car.
Capitalism's a bitch.
Angela. Cash is king. It rules everything around me, some would say.
Yeah.
Eventually-
Absolutely. Miami.
My
Money is a major
money
issue.
is a major issue. The car's
Mr.
rolling.
305. Sorry.
Annie's freestyling, and she starts going off into her freestyle, and eventually leading to what the fuck could this smell be? Oh my god, what is this smell? And turns around, oh fuck, this bitch just shot herself, and
She's shitting. She's
she's shitting. I can hear it. Oh. Disgusting. So they stop at another cafe along the road, and Annie makes sure to fucking just like let the viewers know what she
why
saw
does she
too.
do that?
Just a
That's
whole
Is
lot
she
of-
gross? Is she a gross
And there's
lady?
a lot of corn. There's a lot
There's-
of corn in that shit.
a lot.
of
This, Sam, you talked about last week of walking in piles of goo, of you
Mhm.
like squinching away.
You looking
I've
away,
watched
you
this
looked
movie
away.
a bunch of times. This is a very squinty-eyed
Yes.
scene for me.
Uh-huh.
Any of the poo stuff. Yeah.
Ugh.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
caked on. Just
Yeah.
yep, and just having the whole load still in the underwear too. It's just in the excess, the blowout. It's just like.
Yeah,
I
this
don't
is that
think it's
extra
weird
goo.
to be grossed out by. But where do you? Yeah. So
to
where do
be
you
totally
put this
honest
on
with
the
you,
gore
though-
score, right? Because part of
I
the
didn't include this. I
idea-
didn't think of this
No,
as
I
gore.
actually I didn't include poop.
I
No,
didn't
no.
include it either, but I feel like part of the gore meter is to tell you how grossed out you'd be by a film, not just. I mean, the title
Goo-goro-
is strictly
the
gore.
meter.
The
Huh?
grossometer.
Ew. How gross
The-
was it?
And the
How
grody
gross was
meter.
this?
It's a grody.
Oh,
Ew.
so grody.
The grime graph.
Oh, yeah. Where does it sit on the grime graph? All trends are leading to increase in grime. All right. We're at the cafe now. Angela kind of walks in, or Annie walks in with Angela. There's a man behind the counter of this closed ass looking down place too. But she's just like, can we use
'Cause
the
I-
restaurant? He's like, yeah.
I
Go
think
ahead.
all places are to go, right? Because it's COVID.
Oh, it is.
Oh, it's still
That's-
COVID.
Good point.
Oh,
But,
yeah.
but just because it
So
was
it's
like
like
super
sign
dark
in.
at this point and we were at the last closed place, I'm like, she's walking in all these closed places. But that, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Because he does ask her to use the track and trace system to log in.
Right.
She's just kind of like, eh. But this is when Angela starts walking to the bathroom, is just excreting
Peeing
all sorts of fluid.
I think she's peeing herself.
Yeah, I think she's
Sure.
just peeing all over the floor.
Yeah, it's really gross.
Just shuffling.
The comments agree.
Ugh.
Yeah, it's Annie. Annie does though try to clean Angela up. I mean, she does get in there, and it's pretty nice of her. But while doing this, she notices something. A tattoo on Angela's stomach, and there's also a little belly ring there too, which is odd.
Yeah.
And she's like, what the fuck is this weird tattoo? But while that's happening, a voice starts calling out. She's hearing, Angela, Angela. And the viewers, the comments are going off on recognizing who the tattoo is. They're like, that's fucking Ariana Grande. That's an Ariana Grande tattoo. Did anybody else see the belly ring? Like, being really weird.
You know, it's funny. I
really
missed the
old
comments
woman.
both times because I found the somebody walking in calling Angela so effective as a like, oh, what the fuck is this? That both times I didn't pay attention to the comments at that part.
Nice. But that is, as you said, I think that's really effective. It's at the right moment where you would look to the comments maybe to see what people are saying about the tattoo, because Annie's kind of seemingly confused about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's faint enough that you're like, what the fuck? So there's like this little glory hole that Annie peeps through and sees some blurry woman standing there.
Kind of going through.
Yeah. And then all of a sudden that woman like fucking kicks down the door and shouts for Angela. The lights above
Angela
break
shatter.
as the door, they shatter as the door comes crashing in. All this chaos starts going. Annie's running away. She falls into
Slips
some of
in
the
pee.
The pee. Yep.
Yes,
She's like,
She
oh,
home
fuck,
loans
shit,
herself.
gross. And then this woman, mystery woman's chasing her. Fucking, she's going like full ghost face,
Growling.
like trying to get after her. Like she's like stumbling and bumbling to get at her.
Yeah. And it almost felt like a goddamn zombie movie. Like I thought she's like growling and like.
Yes, it does feel very visceral.
Yeah,
And,
I was thinking she was a monster at this part.
Right.
Yeah.
Something's up with her. Annie ultimately she kind of like bolts away, and the woman stops chasing her and calls out for Angela again. At this point, Annie stops to see what's going around and notices the woman kind of like slowly approaching Angela. They're like in the dining area of this place, and Angela's standing in front of a TV, like kind of like seemingly switching channels with like the flick of a wrist or something, or
they're like
doing
her mind
something.
or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And like
I got real like to be totally honest with you, through like about almost half of this movie, especially when Angela's presented, I got like Stranger Thing vibes, where I was like, I felt like it was all like telekinesis, where it was like levitation and being able to move things and like force pushing. Sure. So I was like, oh, is this like some weird like science experiment gone wrong? Like they just like tested on this old lady.
Yeah.
right.
Or she's like, is this like a superhero that now is like getting like dementia or something like that, and like can't control all of her superpowers?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a fun. Yeah. That's it. They're not telling you much as to what it could be. I don't know. Fucking. I forget what I thought when I first saw it, but yeah, it's some weird supernatural shit's going on. Annie kind of ducks back down, and suddenly the mystery woman is like launched into the fucking cabinets in front of her, and she's like, "Oh
that
shit!"
Felt like it fucking hurt.
Yep.
Like seeing that was like it was like meat thud slap. Like it was like,
and then Annie freaks out, of course, tries to run out the back door, but like the woman's like leg is sitting there, so it's a fun little moment of her just like slowly kind of like pushing the door open, and because the woman who's knocked out is blocking it, so she squeezes her way out of there, and then all of a sudden the woman pops back up and attacks her. Annie hits her over the head with like, I don't know, some Sprite Zero can or some shit, and
it's Tango, I think it's called.
Ah, okay.
Because one of the commenters immediately said "tangoed" with like an exclamation point.
Tangoed.
Because one of the things I noticed is it seems like some of the comments, I do love all the effort they put into them, but some of them seem to come a little too quickly. Like these viewers are really on it. You know what I mean?
About it.
I mean, yeah, I would agree with that. Like, yeah, as soon as something happens, they're like,
yeah.
On top of it, there's no delay between the comment and what
I
they
like
were.
her
saying, sure.
I love her one-liner where she does after this. She's like, did I just kill that one? She's like hauling ass away from the thing. She's like, did I just fucking kill that lady?
But the viewers are loving it. They're going wild. They're saying, but they're also saying there's some crazy demon shit going on here. So they start saying that there's like weird demon stuff. One of the people looked up, I don't know if it's a joke or whatever, looked up where the cafe she's at now. Somebody else posted, and I don't know if they posted like the phone number to it or something like that, because you do hear the phone ringing at one point in there, and there is like a weird, I presume London phone number,
right?
Because it's when it formatted different, and the last 3 digits on that are 666. Someone points out, so they're all like 666. It's all demon stuff. It's that's what's going on. So they're, I don't know, connecting dots or just finding coincidences. Anyway, they're going wild. Annie escapes out the back. She's running to the car, and then Stretch shows up. He fucking, I guess, Ubered out there. She's like, how the fuck did you find me? And he pulls up his camera. He's like, you've been fucking streaming this. I can just find where you are.
And you get that fun shot of the frame within the frame within the frame within the frame because the camera's on the monitor.
The extended.
I used to love doing that when I was a kid. Like at school, if for some reason you had a camera hooked up to a TV.
Fuck yeah, that's the best. And you do that, a little bit of the wobble and make it like go to infinity, man. That's opening up portals and shit.
That's cosmic.
That's cosmic. Hey, there you go. Night Club.
Night Club.
So he finds her through the stream, and this part's fucking awesome because she's like in the car or whatever, and he's like, who the fuck is that? And Annie looks back, and then just sitting in the back of the car is Angela there, so she freaks out and screams because of that. Fuck? Yeah, that I like that. And
Angela she was like, hey, you're my ride, because that's the other thing. Right. She has that specific place to take her that she wrote down on her arm.
Yeah, she has to. And Angela needs a ride there. She needs to get there. And we're just under 200 viewers now. So kind of still sitting around over there. Some are thinking the mystery lady looks like Angela, and some are theorizing some weird like time loop stuff. Somebody's like, that lady looked like Angela from her past came to the future to do, like, there's all these people like throwing out some funny like weird time loopy stuff in the comments.
Nice.
Now we get to our car driving. Eventually Stretch has had enough of Annie's shit. They're having a whole argument about everything. He pulls the car over, screams for Annie to get out. They both exit the car as the camera remains on Angela sitting in the back seat.
This is what Ross's background is currently.
Yeah, I love this scene. This is super creepy and effective. It's Angela sitting there. She's just kind of like
staring,
looking towards the floorboard. Comments are going off, obviously, talking about this is creepy as fuck. This would be a fun stream to be watching and seeing this part specifically happening. Slowly, Angela like raises her eyes to meet the camera's lens and just stares straight into it. Fun comments of being like, she's staring into my soul, all that.
And we're getting these lights coming by and glaring out.
Passing cars.
Yeah, passing cars where it like
whites out the car, essentially.
Yeah, the camera, so you don't see for a second. Yeah, as it passes. Exactly.
So it's building that tension. As a viewer, we understand what's about to. Something's coming. Something's
gonna happen from that. Yes,
it's
exactly.
About to get weird.
Which is it's really fun because normally, and I guess normally you typically get like a blackout as opposed to the whiteout. So
a whiteout,
yeah,
it worked well. It worked well with the cars. But as Angela's staring, all of a sudden, like the bottom of her mask just starts like pulling up with a bright red substance, and just like more and more and more, and then it starts dripping down. And it's blood,
blood.
I mean, that's what we think. I can't
Ugh.
confirm it, but I think it's blood.
Well, I mean, as soon as I saw the bright red substance, I was like, that's blood. I wasn't like, wait, let's see the drip. I mean, I'm going to assume that's what it is, but I can't confirm it.
It was hot sauce the entire time. Yeah,
it could have been
too much hot sauce.
Just Ralphing up Tabasco.
Yeah,
so
I mean, she was oozing out of one end, so it only makes sense.
Would explain all the poop.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That shit'll age you.
Angela just chugged 15 bottles of Tabasco sauce.
She's just hurling it up this
I
whole
mean,
movie.
I feel like we would all look like we were that fucked up if we chugged 15 bottles of Tabasco sauce.
I think
Very
so.
true.
Yeah.
Honestly, it might give you powers.
It's
Also
superpowers.
true,
Telekinesis.
too.
That's actually the label of most Tabasco sauces is
The
if
warning.
you consume 15 or more in
Yes.
one sitting, it will give you superpowers.
We'll
It'll age you.
We'll give you telekinesis. Yeah.
It'll
Yes.
age you, but it will give you power. So
That's how
It
the
will give
Human
you
Torch
powers.
became the Human Torch.
Yeah.
all right, so we're getting our little our light pass by gimmick, and one of those times it passes by, Angela's like gone, and the car door right at the tail
Just
end of it, you
zips
can see
out.
the car
Closing.
door
For
closing.
being as old
It's
as she is super squirrely.
Oh,
she's
she's
very
nimble.
fast.
Yeah, she's on it. And Andy notices that Angela's left the car and chases after her. Stretch gets into the car and he decides that he's like going to be like, look at all this gross shit. Do you see what this lady does that you're watching this live stream? This is what happens from it. And we get to see the result of it.
A big old zoom on a
really
boom
good
boom.
to see that boom boom, no doubt. This
Yeah.
part where I was like, Brian, this was the part that was the hardest to watch, right? This
Oh yeah, this was another.
to me, this was the grossest looking of it because you like really see how like the
Is it gross?
consistency.
You
It's
get
just so much corn.
to see all the different consistencies.
yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
15
yeah.
bottles of Tabasco will do that to you.
Yep.
That's
That's
very
the
true.
other downside. You start releasing all bodily fluids and functions.
Now, this
You
is
get
where
old.
Stretch
All of your humors
chooses
erupt
to
at once.
film the adventures.
We call that the
What's that?
hyper clean.
Oh,
Yeah.
Hyper
The
clean.
hyper clean. Yeah. It's
yeah, yes.
Yes. Detoxing.
Stretch does decide to choose to film the adventure at this point because he notices all this, cleans it, and then there's
I
a
don't
bang of
believe
the
it.
car.
I don't believe that Stretch would do that.
Sure.
Just I'm gonna keep up this live stream now. Like I could see him showing off the poop to be like, you see what I'm fucking deal with? This sucks. But
See,
not.
it's weird.
Oh,
I thought that he grabbed it because it had a light source.
I think that's
You know what
the
I mean? Like,
premise behind a lot of why it's still being used is that the light is
It has
on
that
and it's
flashlight.
just being grabbed as like a quick way to see.
I didn't.
Because I think I
Yeah.
noticed that a little bit more. I thought that kind of same thing of like why
Also,
it
this
still being carried
iPhone
around?
has incredible battery life. They must have like one of those huge like packs on the back.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yes.
They got the battery pack. She's got like a waist pack with a shit ton of external batteries that it's hooked up
Right.
into, and that moves around with the camera between them. You're not seeing Stretch putting on that battery pack as well.
Gotcha. Yeah. It's like a Batman utility belt for your iPhone.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But it's all just to keep it charging. So that
Okay,
we can,
the light source thing though, that makes sense because I was like, why the fuck is he doing this?
Right,
Mhm.
right. So while he's in the car, this banging happens, and then like there's a fucking odd, weird screaming
did
sound
we-
he hears.
Sorry,
Did
did
we-
we mention when Stretch before he finds her when he comes in the comments and he's like, Annie, give me back my fucking car, and like people are like, oh, I think this guy's Stretch, and he's
Oh,
like, give
I
me my
missed
car,
that.
Annie. Oh yeah, it's so
That
funny.
happened?
Yes, it's
See, that's
whatever the
hilarious.
actual actor's name is.
Oh, okay.
It's like some sort of version of
Oh,
that, and
okay.
he gets
Oh, that's
in the chat
amazing.
and is just in all caps about giving the car, and then somebody is
Okay.
like, "Oh my god, it's Stretch!" Like boot
It's
him,
Stretch,
and they're
yeah.
like, "Can anybody do that?" And they're like, "I can. He's gone." Ha ha ha! Like,
Oh, okay, that's fucking hilarious. Yeah, see, I missed that. I was trying to pay
Yeah.
attention to the fucking comments, and I missed that. So at this point, he exits the car after all this banging shit happens, and he runs off into the woods and sees Angela run off.
he sees her like running off through the woods, and is like,
He
"Oh,
sees
hey,"
Angela
like,
first. Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
He sees
and he
Angela,
just
then-
sees an old woman, incontinent woman running off in the woods. He's like, "Fuck, I gotta go take care of this lady."
Exactly. And he chases after her. The comments go off and they start saying behind you as he's doing this. He doesn't notice and he looks down and sees that and he
He's like,
freaks the fuck out. And then all the comments and viewers have a laugh over that one. But then Stretch falls and fucking blood starts falling onto his hand and he looks up and just like standing on a branch, carefree as can be, like with the greatest of ease, is
Looks
Angela.
like a gross owl.
Just chilling up there. So that's creepy as fuck. So he runs, and the viewers make fun of him, calling him all sorts of names and, you know, taunting him. He gets kind of like back into the car and like freaking out for a minute. Then he's like, fuck,
Comments.
there's a crazy old woman in a tree in the woods. Like, I gotta go help this lady. Like, so he goes back out, starts climbing up to her. Then a branch breaks or something happens, which causes him to fall. Essentially, he falls down and knocks his ass out. This break stretch, and this also cuts the connection off, and we lose our connection to the viewers. But you know, it's still recording or whatever.
There's a lot of that, which is another thing with the found footage versus screen time. Like,
I guess this could be like. I guess if it was all recorded,
it would have to be recorded locally somewhere for us to have seen any of this.
Right. I guess it's still recording onto her phone somehow and then uploaded later.
She also has a memory bank on her utility belt of batteries. That's what it is.
Yeah. There's It's not all just batteries. There's a whole thing that's storing.
She's got external hard drives on her utility belt.
I'm down for all these reasons.
Yes.
But yeah, it's makes it found footage, and I'm not really sure I am down for all these reasons, but it's fine.
No, you're totally down. It's fine. And he falls, shit breaks, and then we get this fucking creepy ass scene, which I said is a shame the connection breaks because nobody gets to see the shot of just Angela floating carefree to the ground and then wander off into the woods.
Yeah,
I like that a lot.
She Mary Poppined it without the umbrella.
Totally.
You know?
Precisely. Totally. And then Stretch wakes up. What?
I liked it. I would have preferred something else. I may have even preferred it if she just dropped to the ground and then took off running. But like,
sure.
Yeah. I mean, I knew she was going to do something, right? Yeah. What are we going to see her do? And that just someone floating down like that just seemed like something a little more like I've seen before. I
like it because
something unexpected.
Me, I see. No, that would make sense. I would like if you just kind of fucking dropped down and then ran off would be interesting. I liked it because it added a sort of, I don't know, this weird control to the chaos of this person that we haven't seen before.
Power, or she can fly.
So like it had just been something just breaking before. It was all like loud and chaos. This seemed very quiet too. The quietness of it is like jarring in a movie that's been nothing but chaos.
Yeah, but even then, it also just adds to the chaos because as controlled as it is, it's chaotic from what we had been seeing.
You're like,
right?
What the fuck?
Yeah,
precisely. It gives.
She also gets more progressively.
Yeah,
I was going to say at that point, it's definitively something incredibly supernatural's going on, because I mean you could say the flick of the wrist, the change in the channels was coincidental. I guess you could say the light shattering
and it's
was
hard to see. It could have been she had a remote. That light shattering, you don't know what's going on my second watch. I clearly saw it was her powers, but on your first watch, it's found footage. It's shaky, you don't really know what's happening. It could all be explained by other things, maybe.
Sure.
It is.
Sorry, Ross.
I was going to say, it's just really weird because the rest of her actions throughout this movie are insanely feral. Like she's on all fours and like running around and snarling and doing stuff. So it's like, it's a cool shot, but it's such a weird transition from her being like slowly changing things, slowly like her this glide down, and then everything past this is just like, like fucking nuts.
Yeah,
which I think is kind of cool though, because it almost shows like the progression of, I'm assuming, this possession in this girl. You know what I mean? So it seems like she's kind of like doped out kind of thing, or whatever tranquilizer they used is definitely wearing off at a certain point in the movie.
Sure, it could be something subdued that's like slowly waking up. I think
it was just like one last flash of sanity. Like we're just going to use up all our sanity just to float down, and then after that, it's pure crazy.
Pure crazy.
Pure crazy. Stretch wakes up. He lost a shoe, but that's okay. Suddenly, Annie runs up screaming she's found us. She's here, and a fucking shot gets fired off, a blast right next to him. So then we're snapped right back into the chaos again. They go run, and guns are blasting. Still no connection. They find like an old trailer or something to hide in. But Stretch isn't having a good time without that shoe because he stepped on a freaking like hypodermic needle that's just sticking in his foot.
Oh, God damn it. Fucking, I hated that scene. Like, he hits it and then you see it and you're
then
like,
you watch him pull it out.
Oh, and it's like, isn't it like in his fucking heel? Like, it's not even in the middle of his foot. I thought it was like in the, like, he heel hit it, which I feel
I prefer it in
worse.
my heel than the middle of my foot.
I don't know. I don't want it anywhere in my foot. Everywhere sounds the worst.
No, same. I honestly, I'd be more scared of that than anything else going on. Like once everything else dies down, like what disease do I have?
Yes.
I know.
A used hypodermic needle in an abandoned caravan in the middle of the woods.
Stop.
You're dead.
Stop
You're
shooting
die.
at me.
Can we just
on a
talk?
freaking needle here. Okay?
Pause.
You don't know
Pause.
what disease I have now.
I give up.
Pause. Time out.
Hey, if you don't stop, I'm gonna poke you with this.
I'll poke you. I'll do it.
I'll do it.
At this point, we do realize that it is the same woman from before. We hear her calling out for Angela again. We get some more weird scream noise, which draws the attention of the woman away from Annie and Stretch. And they sit in this darkness for a little bit, waiting for a safe moment. And then Annie quietly asks, "Do you have a boner right now?" So there's just Annie, trying to break that tension right there. Back into the woods, Stretch and Annie are running, trying to fucking make their way through it as connection is being restored to the stream. Annie goes about being a dick and ultimately pushes Stretch over, hurting his ankle, and starts fucking, trying to be like, "Oh, I'm going to heal you. Everything's fine. Sorry, blah, blah, blah." They hear a snap in the woods. Then Stretch's phone rings, startling the both of them. And it's Gemma calling, being like, "What the fuck is going on? Where are you? What's all this shit happening?" He like hands the phone to Annie to like apologize. But Annie continues just to be a dick and edgy about everything.
What a huge piece of shit.
Mm-hmm. They do make it back to the car. They get inside and they turn on the lights. And as soon as they do that, it illuminates Angela standing about 15 feet in front of them, in the middle of the road. So that's scary. And
I was like, oh, but it's also blurry.
Yes,
like it's all just not in focus.
I really wonder how much of that was accidental or not, because I know a lot of this was, is just shot on an iPhone with like the actors and the director and a producer. Right, that was it. Mm-hmm. And
I imagine.
I know Annie shot a lot of this movie herself, so I'm just that shot in particular. I don't know why. I want to know if it was planned to be that way or if it came out that way.
No idea.
I don't know why. That's just the one I want to know because it's so interesting. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
Yeah,
it is.
I'd say it's by accident, just by
happy accident.
Yeah, because it seems like it's zooming in on the windshield and not past it, and that's what's making that like because it's like focused
it's like
hyper
focused
on
all the droplets of water
droplets and stuff. Yeah.
It could have. Yeah, it'd be interesting to know. But so this sparks Annie to be like, fuck. For some reason, she still feels like she needs to help Angela at this point. So she gets out of the car and she kind of like goes up, slowly approaches Angela. Then all of a sudden she like freaks out and jumps backward. And this cuts us back into the car. And Annie's in the back, freaking out with Angela. Angela's mask is like covered in blood. And he takes the mask off. And this is where we see that Angela's mouth has been stapled shut for some reason.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we're going to find out in just a second.
Blood's kind of like oozing out, Stretches on the phone with the cops. And while this blood's oozing, or Tabasco is oozing out of her mouth, Angela decides she can't take it anymore and just fucking like rips her fucking mouth open with her hand, or does like pulls out, I don't know, the staples and just pulls it, the fucking shit open, and just you just get this gooey blood spill out of
just
teeth gnashing
grossness. Yeah. We get a little chompy action. More chaos ensues, causing Stretch to drive head on into another car. 300 viewers about this point as well. So, and this is where we get a lot of
thought this shit would have been popping off way more than that by now. You know what I mean?
You would have thought, right? Yeah. A lot of people calling it fake. At this point, this is really when that's starting to pop off. Oh, this is fake. Oh, this is fake. This part's really gnarly where we see the dude from the other car that was crashed through their windshield.
Through
dead.
the fucking windshield.
Not dead. That was
Not
one of the
dead.
things in the
Not
comments that people were saying, like, as well, like, yeah. Oh, is that a dead dude? And then he moved, and they're like really quickly, not dead.
Oh, really?
Yeah. That guy freaks out, obviously, and then the fucking car that he was, it explodes and like just starts like
the engine catches on fire, which is like roasting half of his body that's outside of the car.
Well,
while Annie's holding his hand on the inside of the car, like fuck.
It kicked up his body
death.
too from the explosion. Like it, like the body the part that's still outside, like kicks up and smacks back down on the hood while catching on fire.
yeah, and that dude is screaming in pain, and Annie, yeah, as Ross said, is like holding his hand and trying to comfort him to some extent, like, oh,
it's gonna be
But
okay.
then she's like, let go of me. Like,
yeah. Then at some point,
why does she like all of a sudden not into it?
because I think the car starts heating up, or the fire's getting more intense, and she's trying to get
Okay.
out at that point.
Sure.
Because I think she's trying to exit and can't. And yeah, so she freaks out, and she's trying to get out of the
then
car.
fire. Yeah.
And then she's banging out and like screaming for Stretch to help. But then she does make it out. At this point, Angela runs up to her and gets all fucking chompy and all this shit and tries to like gnash at her. And we get this shot of Angela's eyes turning white as it kind of like, I guess, severs the connection of the phone, causing it to malfunction. And the stream drops again for the viewers. Annie makes it back to the wreck after this, and
Yeah.
we find that the crash car was this newlywed couple, and she walks around
just
to the
married.
driver's seat or passenger. I don't know where the steering wheel was in this car.
Passenger
it was
was the
the
passenger
passenger.
seat. Yeah, the bride's
Yeah.
in the passenger seat.
Okay, so the bride's there, and she tries to check on her, but she's dead. And this is when the airbag
Airbag goes
Fuck
off
yes.
now. Yeah.
kicks off, and like,
And just kicks her corpse up. and
Final
back down on
Destination
it.
style, just like flap flap.
That's like a little jump scare
floppy
there.
chorus.
Yeah.
Yep. Flop corpse. And this is when
Corpse
Annie
flop.
places one of her sweatshirts over her like no liberals sweatshirt.
The
the
liberals
body.
with the circle and the line through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Just some of that Annie humor for us all. She runs into Stretch, who's just sitting at the back end of their car smoking a ciggy, and they're just trying to, I don't know, get through whatever the situation is going on right now. Annie thought it would be nice. She says that she thought of a word that rhymes with orange, and she needs Stretch to set her up. So they start doing this little back and forth freestyle thing where, you know, Stretch will go. She's filming Stretch.
And her
and
word
then-
was syringe, which does not rhyme with orange.
Right. I was like, I didn't feel like we heard the part where anything rhymed here, but okay. And while she's doing this, she's like pointing the camera at Stretch, and then she'll point it to herself for a line. Then she'll point it at Stretch, and then back and forth and back and forth. And then on one of her final lines, she moves back to herself right as fucking Angela runs up out of the darkness from behind her and fucking munches down on Annie's neck or something.
Yeah.
She fucking takes a
Shoulder or
big old
something. Ugh.
chunk out of her.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Stretch runs back to the car, grabs that crystal pyramid, and smacks Angela across the head or some shit. They run away. Angela chases. They jump into the car. It says Angela chases, jumps on the car. Oh, yeah. This is when, like, we get kind of almost that feral shit where she's jumping around and shit.
They're like, ah.
A whole bunch of screaming and stuff. As they're running down the road, this is when another car starts heading their way, and they're trying to flag it down. As soon as they get a little bit closer, Annie's like starts to run away
shit.
from
Run in
it.
the opposite direction.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stretch is like, what's wrong? And then all of a sudden he gets fucking nailed by the car, goes flying through the air.
He's wearing the camera at this point.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But not anymore because it
flew
flew
off.
Yeah,
off
it
his
gets
head.
flown off.
I
Yeah.
think it was on his head, and it is no longer
That
there.
the sequence of him getting hit by the car is fucking great.
Yeah.
Like super, like, I mean, there's some believable, but like super believable shot sequence of just like what, just how fast it happens.
Yeah, precisely. And then you get that shot of the camera, like it's like kind of like laying in the grass while you hear all the shit going on. It's just sitting there for a little bit. We hear that
We see Angela's mom calling for her in the darkness, And then all of a sudden the camera gets picked up by Annie.
Yes, and the phone is that also kicks it back online too. So it's connecting to the stream again too. And then we hear the car stop, someone get out, and Annie crawls up, takes the phone from Stretch. She runs off as the woman from before runs up and starts shooting at her, and she escapes into this like waterway tunnel area.
Thing to hide.
Yeah.
And it looks like try and escape as well, but she runs into something where she can't keep going. Yeah.
A blockage or something. It looks like it's, yeah, exactly. And then we learn that Stretch isn't dead because the woman's like holding him hostage or something. Like she has the gun to him essentially, yelling for Annie to come out or she's going to shoot him. And we're at 700 viewers now about. So it's kicking up. There you go.
Slowly going
push. Some definitely still calling it fake, some egging it on, some saying it's real, some saying Annie needs help. And at this moment too, Annie, while she's in the tunnel or whatever, she texts in the chat that she's like, send help, she needs help. And everyone's like, yeah, it's fake. It's, yeah. She does crawl out of the tunnel and kind of like poke up to see the woman and Stretch on the side of the road, illuminated by the headlights, and she has like the gun to him essentially. Annie sneaks around and makes her way into the woman's car, and the woman like fucking kicks the shit out of Stretch's head just as Annie jumps into the car to steal it. The woman shoots out the back of the car, causing Annie to steer off the road, crash into a pole or a tree or whatever. Woman runs up, is about to shoot Annie, but then Stretch stops her. They have this big old tussle leading to the woman getting her arm stuck in the steering wheel. And Annie taking that fucking steering wheel and turning that like a motherfucker and breaking the shit out of that arm.
That bone sticking out.
Snaps,
I immediately just went.
That's brutal. You feel that. You definitely feel that one.
Yeah. That is a
good job there, making you go, my arm.
Were they what were they fighting over? Because like Annie grabs for the keys, I guess, or something, and that's when she tries grabbing for something by the steering wheel. But god damn it.
Yeah, because I think Stretch is like yelling at her to fucking like start the car, get going, go, or something like that. So yeah. So that all happens. 3,500 viewers at this point, and it has cut up a lot of people being like fake. So that's continuing. Cut to Annie introing the show and showing she's like, hey, welcome to Bandcar, the #1 internet stream, and we're here to wonder why the fuck this woman is trying to murder us. Right. So
I get the idea of, I think that's what is progressively more aggravating about Annie's character is that she never drops the bit. So it's just like, then you realize it's not a bit. She's just that way, I guess, to a certain extent, where it's like, even in the most horrific, like this woman's arm is snapped.
I feel
and she's using like the morpho mic and asking these questions, where I feel like at any point, any other logical person shy of a sociopath would stop the charade and just like get into some sense of normalcy. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, well, I think she's just trying to sell her audience again. You know what I mean? She's like, she can't help herself.
It's also, I also think it's a disassociation of some point.
Oh yeah, definitely.
It's a normalcy in this crazy situation that she can easily fall back on to appease the viewer type of thing. I don't know. I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous. You're not wrong, but I think everything leading up to this point that she has done has been completely illogical and
equally as illogical. Yeah.
So she's doing this whole thing here, and this is when we do learn that the woman claims that Angela is 16 and is Angela's daughter. So this is Angela's mother that's been chasing them down for whatever reason. And then Annie finds Angela's social media profile or some sort of profile and finds a young girl with the same Ariana Grande tattoo right on her, like, you know,
and just starts hysterically laughing.
Here's something that doesn't make sense to me, though, is why, if this is Angela's mom and she's been trying to get Angela, why does it seem like she's had plenty of chances to get Angela and instead tries to take these opportunities to get Stretch or Annie in some way? You know what I mean?
Well, I feel like she's going after them because they're Oh, sorry. I mean, like, I just feel like she's going after them because they're like, she feels that they're cult members or something. She doesn't know who they are. So I feel like she's trying to like exterminate, murder them, and then kind of like quote unquote rescue her daughter.
Well, if I thought my kid was captured by a cult, I'd be way more worried about getting him or her away from the cult than killing the cult members and then getting them.
No, I mean, I get what you're saying. Why doesn't she? There are opportunities for her to essentially grab Angela and leave and ignore Annie and Stretch. I don't know because
I don't know why there'd be any motivation for her to want to murder them if that's her daughter that she's trying to get back. People in the comments, and it could be, are also because we don't know where the cult got this person from. People in the comments are theorizing that she was a victim of some sort of child trafficking. So this person was stolen. So people then also think that Angela, I guess, maybe is tracked it down, and it still doesn't, I guess, answer the question of why she just doesn't take Angela and leave. But maybe she just really wants to kill these people as well for taking Angela in the first place. I don't know. That's the only fucking place I can come to with it. I don't know. If you have a shotgun and someone steals your kid, I mean, we've seen those movies before. So, I mean, she's in that's a different movie where she's like in action mode or something. In those movies, when they get to their kid, they're not like, all right, you stay here while I go around and kill some more people.
I feel like that happens in something, right? It's gotta. I don't know. That's what I'd do. So
the Taken franchise, I haven't seen him.
Wait here. I'm gonna go finish this.
I have. Yeah, go hide under the bed. They're gonna take you down. And
okay, so all of this goes down pretty quickly. We find out that we got the Ariana Grande tattoo. It's all coming together. Angela shows up again, and then more stuff starts popping off real quick. And I guess, well, Angela's mom decides she is going to go to Angela now and just, try to comfort her and take her away. Well, I guess Angela wasn't having that, is mad at Mama, and just decides to rip her head off. Pop that straight off.
Clean pull. Like, talk about just efficiency in murder. Like, that was a very, no sinews, no nothing, just a straight.
Mm-hmm. No, it was
like
great.
A champagne bottle.
Yeah.
After this happened, Annie and Stretch.
I should have had the spray though, without the spray, but just the cork effect.
Mm-hmm. Annie and Stretch run off into the woods again. But at this point, Stretch gets kind of like pulled back by some, Angela's force powers or something like that. And this causes the stream to cut out again. This happens a little bit more, I think. Stretch gets pulled around a little bit, but then he ultimately ends up at this creepy ass closed amusement park. And
he hops over a fence and ends up there.
Watch your head.
So did we already see Angela use her power to make the car flip? Because she does that too. The car Annie ran into the tree.
Yeah, that happens right after the head pops. So they run to like try to go to the car, and they would
and the car just goes like, a mysterious force, some death wind makes it go flying.
So that's what causes them to.
Oh, for real, she's got some dank ass powers, bro.
She's got some shit, man. Yeah. Because then, it's that's what causes him to run off into the woods, and then we get him being like pulled back or whatever, and then ultimately into that amusement park area where he's kind of like creeping around and shit, trying to find Annie. Eventually he finds like some blood or something. He starts following some blood trails, and that leads him to Annie just fucking like seemingly looks like dead in a teacup.
Not doing
slept over in the teacups.
Not doing well at all. So he's like trying to wake her up. This is when he does the fucking Silver Lake slap or whatever the hell they call it, where he spits in his hand and just like slaps her. Yeah. And she's pissed about that, but it does do the job.
She deserves it.
Gets her
totally
up and
deserves it.
Silver Lake, I'm pretty sure, is like the hipster area of LA. If I'm like 90% sure.
Interesting.
Like what is it, Williamsburg, or what are they?
Sure.
What's it? Yeah.
I feel
It's
you.
that.
I get it's that. After this happens, it ultimately leads us to they're working their way through the funhouse and just a whole bunch of creepy shit going
The
on.
mirror maze. I was instantly like, oh fuck, because Ross and I were just in a mirror
Just
maze,
went to one.
and that shit was so disorienting. I
It-
kind of
it
loved it,
really
but
is.
whoa, I could not believe how powerful it was. Like, I was getting dizzy.
Hell yeah. That's powerful stuff, that mirror maze there. Well, they get stuck
really
in it.
is.
You ever done a
And-
mirror maze and watched Led Zeppelin live?
It's crazy, man.
It's crazy, man.
The second the lights get turned on was extra creepy because like everything has like a not Harlequin clown, but it's like those punchy clown. Like there's just really weird faces
Mm-hmm.
and like it's just like ugh.
Sure.
Because it's creepy already, and then the lights turn on, like, you're like, oh,
Yeah, just-
stop it. Fucking goddamn it. Yeah, we didn't need that. I didn't need that.
Carnival clown bullshit. So ultimately this leads to Stretch's demise. He gets his like fucking throat ripped and something happens to him.
I liked
Blood.
how he runs into a mirror, which happens very easily in a mirror maze. So he bumps into it, and she calls him like a idiot or a moron or something. And then something bursts through that mirror from the other side that he had just hit, and I thought that was just a cool device,
Yeah,
scare
sure.
tactic.
And it works. And he's dead. Ripped, slitted, and left. Annie escapes in a car. She like smashes the window, gets in there, and just fucking starts driving away. And then she like kind of like sets up her camera. And it's like, you know, thinking about what happened or whatever. I don't know. She's driving, and this is where we get the
Yeah.
shot of fucking like Angela all of a sudden like
All of a sudden comes
hauling
in
ass.
lit in the tail lights,
like
from
just like kind of
behind.
like grabbing for the car, like not quite
Oh,
reaching
God.
it. Oh, I love it.
Super cool.
It's creepy as fuck. And yeah, but ultimately like a whole crash ensues, and then we get to the whole lake situation.
Well,
that
yeah, but I
happens,
love that.
right?
I love how the crash happens because she like something happens. I forget what exactly, but Angela like I imagine smashes through the trunk. She runs into the car because she
Yes.
slams on her brakes or something, and now she like Annie still doesn't know, but we see Angela like climbing through the back seat trying to like,
Yes.
get to her, and then she finally does.
Yeah, she gets on her
I
and,
think
like,
she
pulls
slams
out.
on her like not to fall into the lake, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of
she
like
slams
on the
brake.
edge there.
That causes
Yeah.
Angela to fly
Angela
in.
to fly in, and now she's trying to get her, and some sort of fight ensues that she wraps Angela up in
Like a
seatbelt,
seatbelt.
and like has her stuck in the back seat, and now she's just like chilling in the front seat, smoking a cigarette, like just so fucking over it, thinking about what
She puts
to do.
like a plastic bag over
A
Angela's
plastic bag
head.
over her head.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes, and then that's when she's fucking hanging out there. And then
Then Angela uses her fucking powers. We all see this from the inside to like push the car over. We're seeing it from the windshield. It starts to fall to the water. Then it lifts up above the water and smashes down into it. So she
Yes.
like uses her powers to like basically throw the car in the water.
which is nuts.
Mhm.
Annie does escape from that and like
Mhm.
crawls out onto the fucking shoreline.
She had taken off the headrest to break a window, and then she ended up smashing it in the side of Angela's head
Which is pretty
That
dope.
was awesome.
with the
She's like,
bag
I'm
on.
sorry.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Which is so like after all this to say that.
After all of that.
Not like a friend
Yeah.
of yours that was a zombie. No.
Exactly. It's just some fucking crazy demon woman or whatever,
Yeah.
old 16-year-old.
Right.
Right.
I'd be like, fuck you.
So she does make it out, and while she's chilling on the shoreline, we do get the shot of the beach or whatever, and then we do get a fucking Angela just rising out of the water.
Reminds
Which
me
is
of Evil Dead
Evil
Rise.
Dead Rise.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Of course. And this is
Of course.
one of the moments, and this is what makes me give T-Boo so much shit about this movie sometimes, is that at some point he had said something about like when people like float or rise up, how cosmic that is, and how much he loves that, and anything with that is just like amazing and the best or whatever. So that's why he does not care for this movie as much. And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is the most cosmic of the fucking shit ever, which I mean, it follows whatever lines
a lot
of
his
cosmic
guidelines. Yeah, but I understand why anybody wouldn't like this movie because of Annie.
Yeah.
Again, I don't want to harp on it too much, but no, I totally get it.
Yeah.
You can enjoy the movie without liking it.
Yeah.
Just say it.
So that's why I like to give him some shit about that. I'm like, it's all right there, man. Fucking floating. You said you love that shit. It's right there.
She's rising out of the water.
There's
like a cosmic entity. Come on now.
Yeah, this shit gets weird, man. There's weird. Well, we're about to come up to it. I mean, Andy eventually finds this big old house and makes her way inside there and is kind of like perusing around. She starts rapping again. She's like looking around at mail or some shit, and she sees the address of where she's at. She's like, wait a minute. She looks at her arm at what she wrote down. She's like, oh, fuck. This is where I was supposed to deliver this person.
I love the fact that she's going through the mail and she sees that. She's like singing that song, and then it dawns on her. And then she looks down, and then the second she realizes she's at the location, I love it. That's the ignition for all of the insanity.
Yeah, because she gets up and tries to like run away, and fucking doors slam on her.
Doors slam shut.
And like she sees all
lights
this, like,
go out, lights come up, and it's like looks like Bible pages or something. Who knows? Plastered all over a wall with like sort of onks or crosses, cult shit. Yeah, drawn on them.
She sees that and immediately turns away from that, and we get a bunch of weird people in blue polo t-shirts just kind of standing there looking at her.
Pale people.
Aha! I didn't know you were here. Just in time. And then they all just fucking pull out a knife simultaneously and slit their throats. It's fucking gnarly.
Fucking so gnarly.
Real gnarly.
That scene is so fucking effective because like the jarring thing, because like the first person you see, like you turn around, they're like up on that camera. Yeah. And then you see all of them, and then like you're not even comprehending all these people there yet, and they just pull up the knives and just slit their through. You're like, oh shit, oh fucking shit.
Exactly. You're still processing the fact that there's all of a sudden 6 or 7 people in the room with her.
Yes.
And then this happens here. But then Angela comes up out of nowhere, and she takes one of the knives or whatever and fucking just stabs it into Angela's mouth through her cheeks and is holding her at bay while Angela's just fucking like chomping at her, and then ultimately rips that out, which causes this whole fucking giant slit mouth Angela to be laying on the floor.
Yes.
And lo and behold, that just allowed whatever, well, maybe all the people killing themselves, it was all the culmination led to this the birthing event of our demon.
Yes.
So we get
of our cosmic entity.
Yes, exactly. Some cosmic ass entity starts fucking dangling its tentacles out of Angela's mouth, crawls out of there. Annie's like, fuck that. Starts trying to run away, and like there's like this really weird, creepy long corridor that she has to like go through. So she's fucking running through there. Angela's chasing after, and so she's running through this fucking corridor trying to get out, and this leads to like
the groaning is terrible
of sorts. Yeah, there's all sorts of noises and everything. And in this tunnel, there's all these old cars that are all broken down and shit, and it's off-putting and weird. But then we get this fucking creature that pops up.
Looking creature monstrosity, gooey
spider worm clown.
It's like if it's like Spider-Man was real, as in like not Peter Parker, but like it just like a arachnid crazy man spider. Like it's like weird but gross. Like it's a half-baked man spider.
If Spider-Man were bitten by a radioactive worm, if man spider were bitten by a radioactive worm.
Radioactive worm. Yeah, exactly.
Yes, that's it precisely. It's fucking gross. It's gooey and weird, and we get this whole cat and mouse scene of it like kind of like pouncing around and moving around throughout the tunnels, trying to find, where Annie's at and everything. She's moving about. I know at one point she fucking like sets off a car alarm that starts going crazy, which
this is what's fucking weird to me though, is that the cars is her car from LA, the stolen car that she used, the van that killed the couple. Like it's all the It's every single vehicle that she had been recording in.
Interesting.
Where I was like, oh, is this like was this all planned? Or is like, oh, so now the Hellmouth is completely opened and she's now
it's doing
some weird shit.
Nice.
I didn't even notice that. I only knew the one car, the Stretch's car.
Well, it's funny because she does like the ding ding to the there's like a little Trump bobblehead, which is I think her car. And then she goes to the next one, which I think is Stretches.
Interesting.
And then it's,
because there's the one car with her backpack that has her keyboard in it. And then we like, oh, yeah.
Yep.
But that was in London, or in Stretch's car, because that's where they were doing their thing. Yeah.
Yep.
Right. But she's kind of like crawling around on the floor and like she has she has gotten her backpack. She's trying to hide and like crawl out from underneath a car while this fucking worm weird thing is chasing after her and crawling all around.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets like one of the cars drops. It gets trapped under some shit, right?
She like turns the car is on. Is this the one that she's turned on or whatever? Anyway, she realizes the car doesn't have any tires. It's on bricks. So as she's hiding under it and it's coming under her, she kicks the bricks out so the car falls on top of it.
That's it. Mm-hmm. And at this point, it's like, you got our weird little grossy worm guy being upset. And she takes her keyboard and just fucking smashes him.
Right.
Smashes it to all hell.
Fuck you. Something like that.
She QWERTYs the fuck out of that slug.
Absolutely.
And gets into a car and just kind of sits back. The stream starts kicking off again. Connection is reestablished.
She's looking like gooey too, like dark gooey.
Yeah, dark goo covered in there, and that's it.
Dashcam.
Dashcam
pops up. We get our theme music start playing or whatever, and
she doesn't say anything before we get Dashcam.
I think she says anything? One word or something like that, but I don't.
Seems like she'd have to still say,
I don't
something.
know. Honestly, it could have ended with a penny whistle. I'm not 100% sure.
But it does lead to the credits, which are like fucking 5-10 minutes of her just rapping
about the entire thing.
The cast and the producer.
Cast,
It's the credits. She's rapping the credits.
Yeah.
Like, Jason Blum, I fucked your mom or something like that. I forget what she said. But and that is as Annie Hardy, the person, not Annie Hardy, the character.
Which
you gotta regret you using your act. Like they shouldn't
your
have
actual
done that.
Act.
Didn't we learn that from Blair Witch
Heather?
that was not good?
So it ends with her doing a little rap thing again, starting. There's a thing about if the glove doesn't fit, you must quit. My name's Annie Hardy and something. And then she
if your name's Annie Hardy, then you must be the shit. Yeah.
Yeah. And then she coughs a whole bunch, and then it cuts to Dashcam and we get our music playing.
Because she hasn't changed.
She has not. It's just another thing that's happened to her. Just ready to just get back to it. So that's our for Dashcam. We're going to go and roll into our crematorium of questions. All right. So first question we have is tried and true. Would we survive this one and how so? So, I mean, it's let's say you're in the situation.
Angela.
So we know Sam and I are taking up the offer.
Yes. Ross has already said no and not in this situation.
Oh no. Am I stretching
you're
the
with
situation?
us and we said yes. So
yeah.
So that means I hunt you guys down. So I'm stretching the situation.
Or we're on the shuttle bus and all three of us are together. And Sam and I are like, sorry, Ross, we're outvoting you on this one. We're picking the lady up.
Yeah.
All right, fine.
Do we survive?
Sorry, Ross, your logic is sound, but we need this money.
You think you guys can survive these events? I mean,
survive Angela, essentially, right?
Yeah.
or whatever else
But-
is happening there.
Maybe by the skin of our teeth. I mean, I feel that like there is
Yes, I do. If Annie Hardy
Yeah.
can do it, we can do it.
Okay.
true.
All right. Then I'll agree with you. Trevor, are you surviving Angela?
Yes.
Good.
Yes. Funny enough, my job equips me very well with handling the Angela type character.
Sure, I can see that.
So like the lunging,
Don't let him
the
drink 15
lunging and the
bottles of
biting.
Tabasco.
yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
true.
and the shitting. So like, I'm well equipped to just block all of that out.
Mhm.
Shit.
So I think I can survive.
That's
Yeah.
half the battle.
Yeah.
All right. How you guys feeling about the goo level in this one? Do you want to amp
It
it up
needs more
any
poop.
more?
There should be at least 3 more shitting scenes at minimum.
Sure.
Yeah, I need like 5 more corn on the cob. Just shucked and thrown everywhere.
Annie and Stretch
Splattered.
definitely should have shit themselves for sure.
I'm fine.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
fine with our goo.
Yeah, it's,
You guys-
the goo's
You want
good.
more
Yeah.
poo? That's
Yeah.
good to know.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
Um,
when the car engine blows up and the guy's back end goes up, should have just been a massive pile of just poop exploding out of the saloon.
Actually, that's what set it on fire. It was just a little fire, and then it was like, and it boom.
Yeah, a lot of combustion going on there.
Oh,
Set
okay.
the whole thing
Farted
off.
it. That's fun. Villain level. This is interesting. Angela as a villain. What are you doing this one here, Sam? How you feel about the power level iconography?
So this is tough. Power level is somewhat unknown, but she's definitely very powerful, like pretty powerful. So I'm feeling like 2.5 to 3 for that. 3 feels a little too high.
Interesting. That feels like a low number for something that's very powerful.
Well, I mean, how very powerful is it?
It's a
I don't know.
demonic
You
entity
just described
that
it as
rips
very
through-
powerful. I was expecting more than a 2, 5, or 3. Do whatever you want. I mean, I'm saying
Sure.
I think it is. I gave it a 4 for power level because I do think it is pretty
Oh my goodness.
powerful. I think a lot of just lucky happenstance helped Annie defeat it or whatever. But
Mhm.
I don't know. I think I don't know. Maybe I could be convinced there were like a 3.5 or something, but I think it's pretty powerful.
Which is like
I mean,
telekinetic, right? And then is that it? I mean, that is
Telekinetic,
powerful, but I would go
floating
3.
power of sorts.
That's part of
It
telekinesis.
has
You're
some
making
sort
yourself
of
fly.
See, but this is-
electrical interference power.
Oh,
whatever.
but then I
That's
guess
it.
we're talking about the
It's a
man
Russian doll.
spider worm inside
Yeah,
of it,
no.
right?
See, this is a Russian doll effect where it's like you deal with Angela to a certain point, defeat her, and then this thing pops out of her mouth, and you also have to kill this thing.
And then that's the next
Sure,
step.
Yeah.
but I mean,
It's got a second phase.
What is- other than it being
Yeah.
gross looking, how hard is it to kill this thing?
If you don't have a car that's on bricks, I don't know.
That's true.
If I have a car on wheels, seems
Yeah.
better.
Maybe.
All right.
I don't know.
All right. Well, Ross, what do you feel about its power level? What do you think?
I think the power level is, man, I had it at a 4 because
Okay.
I feel that like Angela causes a ruckus with her being, I'm assuming, sedated and her mouth stapled. And then once those get off, it just ramps everything up. And then, like, by the time she's quote unquote defeated, an entire new entity rips out of her mouth. It starts going after, where it's like, that is, I don't know. It's not God tier, but it is the demonic tier to an nth degree.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, mid-level demonic tier. I'd say 3.5 to a 4. Iconography though, or I'm sorry, Trevor. How do you feel about the power level?
4. It's a 4. I agree with Ross. It's not an unbeatable godlike level, but it's definitely like a top tier kind of like power enough, right?
Yeah.
I think you have to have a very specific set of circumstances to beat it, kind of like what she did.
What puts me over the top over a 3 is that by whatever satanic cult will that Annie still shows up at the house. Like it winds up being that way. So like there's this otherworldly cosmic effect that's happening, but I don't think it's like God. You know what I mean? Like
Cosmic.
But
bro.
why would they want Annie at the house at all? Unless
why do
this
they
is-
collect her cars in the basement?
Right, it's gotta be
it's-
about Annie somehow.
Maybe because she got all the poo on her and stuff.
Ooh, the sacred poo.
It would have had to have been about her from before then to have the car
Well,
there.
maybe. Well, at that point, it's like cosmic, and the cars could have just like popped in there. So, like, if it was whoever was delivering that person. Well, here's the thing, though. Like, what was meant to happen? How was Angela meant to get to this location? Like, what was
she was good, and also wouldn't this place been bad for Angela? Presumably, if she was coming in all drugged up and stapled up, unless they were going to release her once she got there.
Well, I think that's the plan. I think they didn't want her to be released until they got to said area, because then maybe they wanted to. Okay, so we got our initial cult lady. I think Angela was, as a 16-year-old, taken, abducted in whatever aspect, and maybe implanted with this the seed or something of this entity that's in there and gestating inside of her. And then because of that, because of the 15 glasses of Tabasco sauce or bottles or whatever, she is able to gain powers from that. The cult, I think knows this as a thing. That's why she's drugged up and her lips are stapled shut, and they know they have from gestation period from, when it first gets in there to when
and they need to sacrifice the delivery driver. Like,
yeah, that's the thing. That doesn't the willing her to get there, because I feel like in a perfect scenario, the delivery driver is still like, none of this would happen. They're getting Angela to there into the perfect time frame where she doesn't freak out, right? And the delivery driver was I would think the original delivery driver was most likely in on it, and got sidetracked, couldn't make it that night, is sick or something like that. Like had to call out.
Ended up being Stretch, right? Or no, because this
was all by
maybe the
happenstance.
plan. Why? Maybe she just didn't have a car. Why? I guess it's really that pass off to her. When did that become part of the plan, and how does that relate? You know what I mean?
Dude,
was there original driver who didn't come, or why was she in a pinch where she couldn't move her?
Yeah, some sort of happenstance where I think she was supposed to be transported, but I don't know why I got that impression. But the plans fell through, and she was in a bind. Still needed this girl transported somewhere, or maybe shit started like going bad. Maybe Angela had a bad reaction or something to something they do offsite where they're trying to impregnate demons into people, and they needed to get her to the church. But
church on
I don't know what happens when they get there. They're like, okay, we got to have 6 people on hand ready to slit their throats.
It's all falling apart.
Coming right up.
Something who fucking cares. This movie, does it deserve a sequel idea, good or bad?
We say iconography for
iconography.
Angela?
No, we didn't even finish this off. I put a 2.5 at most.
I had a 2.
Tim?
I'm thinking like 1.5.
I was going 2.5 or 3.
Cool.
I think it's higher because I will remember what Angela looks like for sure. As just like an old lady in a red scarf and a skirt with a mask.
Yeah, I mean, my villain level total is a 6.5, I think, at this point. Yeah.
Mine's a 6.
I think that's it.
Yeah,
good.
6. Yeah.
Yes.
3.
Love it.
Yeah.
All right.
We got to the same
sequel.
level with totally different scores.
Yep. Anyone?
No. Because the sequel would probably have to follow Annie and not whatever this other thing is that totally falls apart when analyzed. So,
well, then what would your sequel idea be, though? So you don't want a sequel to this because obviously,
I would. Ooh, I got a good one.
All right, well, it would have to be Annie. Yeah, go ahead, Ross. You got a good one? I
would say, literally courtroom video, like recording inside of a courtroom,
procedural,
because of all of the because there's a body trail with recording of her live streaming all of this shit. I feel like she would get pinned for all of these murders and all this chaos. So then the sequel would be her in court, and then them videotaping the court, and then I don't know, cult members start showing up in the audience or something like that. Something nutty happens while in the courtroom.
I think if I'm going with the sequel, I'm just gonna go with a different genre of horror. So I'm gonna go from a cult, and I'm gonna go ahead and travel into the Sawverse.
Oh.
And I just want to see her in like a murder house live streaming the entire process and like rapping about everything she's seen
Oh my God.
while she's dealing with like the person that put her in there, you know?
Yeah, I need to.
I would watch that.
Oh, yeah.
I would watch that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm
see that.
gonna have her also rapping, doing her thing, but like now her new gimmick, or like, you know, because I see her as sort of just trying to do whatever she thinks will gain followers, right? We talked about that. So now she's sort of like a Ghostbuster type of thing after the popularity of this stream. So now she's going around to different hauntings or creature rumors or whatever, doing her raps, and she stumbles across a real one. She, at this point, she's already done a bunch and maybe even like faked some just for the,
Oh,
you
yeah.
know, the views.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's constantly chasing that dragon, right? The popularity.
But now,
Great. I love it. Mine is it's a team up with Sean from Deadstream, and it follows Samus' idea,
shit.
and they go off and
Yes.
stream together. Why not? All right. You buying the soundtrack, a fucking soundtrack of Annie rapping the horrible shit?
Nope.
No.
Yeah, I'm okay as well. I don't need it. Anything action figure worthy. The weird little guy, demon guy at the end. I'll take that.
Demon guy.
I would take,
man spider worm. Radioactive man spider.
radioactive man spider.
spider.
I don't really particularly want anything, but if I were to get something, that Ross's background, just the empty car with Angela sitting in the back by herself.
I would get, you know, like around Easter where they have those like little rabbit toys that poop out the jelly bean.
Oh,
Yep.
God.
But just
little
an
Angela
Angela
one?
one of them.
Perfect. That's a
If
good-
they had that, I would want
Yeah.
that. Yes.
That's the merch.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They
But-
get-
yeah.
everybody who saw the movie and the opening night got one of those.
Yeah.
Mhm. Any other merch or prop you want from the film?
I
I'll
would
take the keyboard.
the keyboard. I would do one of the leaflets with the occult symbol on it. That's at the end of the movie where like the whole
yeah.
pages have the notes on. I
Yes.
take like one of those.
I take the man spider worm just to get a better look at it.
Better look at it. A little more
Like, so
gander.
what exactly is this thing?
Nice. Perfect.
I think I'm just taking a handful of cash.
Ah,
You're
nice.
the smartest man here.
Great call.
After
That's
all
it.
that.
That is perfect. All right, let's go ahead and get into our ratings. We're going to pull out our fingers and rip them off and throw them into the grave with this one here. Each finger relating to a different category for how we feel about the film. I can go ahead and start us off, then I'll go Sam and Ross. I'm going to give this one for an engaging. I mean, I'm engaged with it. I enjoy this movie for all whatever weird reasons I do, and it's something to watch. So engaging gets a 1. Sticky gets a 1 as well, because I have not actually stopped thinking about this movie in some regards since I've watched it, whether it's because I've wanted to show it or talk about it or just something about it, how extravagant and crazy Annie is, whatever it is, and how much I hate her as a character, and like how could have it changed if she was more likable like Sean in Deadstream, or if she got like killed or something, if there was some sort of satisfaction from this annoying character dying, which I think that's another complaint maybe by some people, is that like you're made to hate her and you don't see any sort
And
of
you don't
like
get it's a horror movie and you don't get
Yeah.
the satisfaction of watching them die.
Yes.
But so anyway, 1 there. T-shirtable 0.5. I'm only giving it that because I mean there's some weird kind of imagery you could get from it, but I don't think there's anything terribly cool that I want, and I don't need to be running around with a Dashcam t-shirt. That's probably saying something at this point. I mean,
You never know.
that I don't want to get into. Just I don't.
You don't
want
want to have the conversation.
Yeah,
with the
it's one of
stranger.
those
Yeah.
ones. Exactly. Cockles. This one's tough. I'm gonna give it a 0.5. It hits on a lot of things. Annie's grading, so it's tough. As much as I don't like her, there's so much about it I like and I enjoy. She is kind of like watching a train wreck in some sort of way where I am kind of engaged with what's going on there. And then rewatchable will be one. I do enjoy watching this. Sam described it as a long, short movie. I think it is a pretty short, quick movie for me, so it works. Which gives it a 4, which is probably high for most people, but I think I
Does it
knew
feel right?
I would sit around there for it. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, wow. All right, cool.
Yeah, Sam, you're next.
Oh, boy. All right. Engaging is tough. I will give it a 1. After my first watch, it was definitely a 0.5 because my first watch, every 10 minutes, I was like checking how much time was left. I was like, oh my God, it's only been 10 more minutes. And it's only an 80-minute movie. And the second time I was not like that. And both times, I guess I was engaged. It was just like, I didn't want to be. The first time particularly. Sticky will get a 0.5. I know I will remember at least how I feel about Annie's character, if not necessarily what happens with her. And then I think I'll probably remember actually not the necessarily Angela so much or what she's up to, other than like it's an old lady character, the way she looks. But the car wreck they get in with the guy flying through the window and then the ride in the passenger seat, I think probably be the most memorable part for me. T-Shirtable is getting a 0. I don't think there's anything particularly cool looking in it, and I certainly do not like it. I don't care how cool the Dashcam shirt is. I'm not fucking buying it. Let me put it that way.
Understandable.
Cockles will get a 0.5 because I do think it's got some good bits to it, if that like makes sense. It's got good little snippets or thoughts or ideas. And rewatchable is getting a 0 because if there's I don't hate the movie. I don't like the movie, and there's no reason for me to ever return to it. So 2 out of 5 is what that gives me, and that feels right. Kind of for exactly what I just said. I don't hate the movie, but I don't like the movie either.
Totally.
And it is because of Annie. I hate to like harp on that, but that is why.
That is why.
100%. Rossi.
Oh, man. All right. So engaging is going to get a 1 because I was engaged the entire time. The cryptic weird buildup of what's actually happening. I was thoroughly involved with that, even with Annie as a character. I was just like in it to fucking win it. Sticky's also going to get a 1 because good, bad, or otherwise, this fucking movie is going to stick with me, including how fucking jarring Annie is as a character. Like, this is almost a subgenre in and of itself where you have the main character as the worst character in the film. Like, this is just, I'm gonna remember half of her stupid comments. And it's mostly when she runs away from shit. She's like, "Oh, fucking dick in my ass! Oh God!"
Shit on my tits.
My pit call was gonna be shit on my dick.
Shit on my tits. Where it's like, because I laughed directly out loud. You know what I mean? Like, it's good, bad, or otherwise. Definitely, Sticky's gonna get a 1. T-Shirtable is going. Yeah, I'm gonna mirror Sam. That is gonna get a big old goose egg. Like, there's. I don't think there's any way I'm wearing a Dashcam shirt. Cockles is going to get a 0.5 because there is some real cool cult shit. There's some cool cosmic shit. There's some real just the visual, the car, like, God, that entire sequence with the car accident scene with the couple is fucking amazing. Like, I don't know, like there are certain just amazing aspects to it. All right, not trying to, mimic what Sam was saying. If they had just toned down Annie by like a good 65%, like this would be I feel like this would be a 5 for me. You know what I mean? Like I needed a hint of that. I did not need the entire spice rack of that in this movie.
I would have just liked her to be more complex or have like an arc rather than be like, she's not very layered. She's kind of one note and doesn't really have an arc. Mm-hmm. So like, and that one note is kind of abrasive and a lot.
Totally. And again, I think that's, goes part and parcel with like, the cockles are there. It's just it's hilarious because they were completely almost eviscerated and then somehow sucked back into a 0.5. You know what I mean? Like it was, I don't know. It's the very first time that's happened. And then rewatchable. Oh man, I hate to say it. Rewatchables. This is the one that maybe in the re-ratings I may fluctuate a little bit, but this one is going to get a goose egg from me because I feel like after watching it 2.5 times for the podcast, I think I'm perfectly okay with not watching this for a minute. But like an earwig, in 2 weeks, I might just be thinking about this fucking movie and just pop it back in and watch it again. I don't know. Mm-hmm. I'm like so on the fence about it. So yeah, I think I'm at like 2.5.
2.5. Yep.
Cool. I feel okay about that for right now. It may bump to a 3.
Seems like
right
it might
now,
bump up, rather than bump down the road.
Great. Cool. Let's head over to our guest for this evening. Trevor, how are you rating this one here?
All right. So engaging, I'm going to go with the full 1. So love it or hate it, I was paying attention and I wanted to pay attention. I wanted to see how more absurd it can get.
Oh, totally.
So, it was there for me for sure. Sticky. Yeah, man. Lots of blood and poo and heads being ripped off.
Yes.
I'm not going to forget how I feel about this movie and some of the things in this movie for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mm-hmm. Right. So, let's see. T-shirtable. I agree. I couldn't think of a T-shirt that I would want. So I'm giving that to 0. Yeah. That's the goose egg, right? Sure. Cockles. I'm coming in at a 0.5. It rubbed me all the right ways half the time.
Exactly. Yes.
I mean, like the other half, I was just like just kind of cringe.
Yeah, totally.
So 0.5 there. Being that I've only seen this once, rewatchable's probably at a 0.5 for me. Mm-hmm. I feel like I do need to watch it one more time. Just to get some of the details, like some of the comments at certain points, or vice versa, like watching the movie instead of reading the comments and other points. Yep. And then also, I do feel like it might be a fun movie to watch with other people at least once, to sit there and point and laugh, right? So yeah, 0.5 there, and that'll bring me up to
that's a 3.
Yeah,
how's that feel for you? Does that feel right?
I like it. I feel it feels right. It does.
Great.
Hell yeah.
Good. Like to hear that.
The club doesn't have much else to say on it, I noticed. As I said, T-Boo's not a big fan of it. Ricky said, I'm going to watch it. It's a 10. Still haven't seen it, though. So that's most we
That's
got.
A blind 10.
Sounds right.
Yeah.
It's a blind 10.
Okay, yeah, so nothing else from them. So bring it into our score for tonight. That is a 2.8, which on our list of things sits in the same realm as Possession, which is a 2.8, and Willy's Wonderland, which is a 2.8. So that's right above things like Caveat and Cocaine Bear, right below Black Sabbath and OG Friday the 13th. Yeah, very nice. Well, that's it. That's going to conclude our Chuddle Club movie meeting for tonight. Don't forget to hop on into our Discord and give us your ratings for films, any past films, any future films that we're going to be covering. We love to hear what you're all thinking there, so jump in to do that.
Are you gonna freestyle the outro? Because you just freestyle the intro?
I did not freestyle the intro well. Hold on.
Freestyle the outro. Show me how that mouth goes.
Yeah. Just talk through it like you're freestyling. There you go.
I'll do like a little spoken poetry thing. All right, everyone.
Yeah.
So thank you so much for listening tonight. And we want to have a big shout out to our guest from the Night Club, one of the newest members. You've heard him here before from Fixie's Playground. We'll shout that out too. I don't think we mentioned that before, but you still got that going, right?
Yep, still going strong.
Awesome. Hell yeah, man. Night Club, blasting off, doing things. Fixie's Playground, blasting off, doing things. Chuddled the Pod, blasting off, doing things. Sam, how can people get at you? Chuddled the Sam?
Chuddled the Sam, Letterboxd.
Nice.
Follow Chuddled the Pod on Threads, and that's me as well. But I'm just doing it as the podcast.
Nice. Ross, where are people finding you at?
Ross Purvis on Instagram.
Oh,
that's it.
Get at him. Follow him. Get his art. Buy his art. Get tattooed by him if you're in the Orlando area. Get it done by him in that area. I get too nervous. I get all like flustered about it. I don't have that talent anymore.
Understand.
I'm not Sam. I'm not like a rapper.
I'm scared.
It's true.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm going to stop delaying this. All right, guys. We're out of here for tonight. Thank you so much for everything. We love you so much. And until next time, avoid the time loop.